Angela,
Darling,
you're live.
you are too.
Lee is here. Deanne is here. Deanne says, well, we'll have to wait longer for the trial now.
Oh, I'm actually in the docket right now trying to find out what the heck.
It was like, I knew it was going to happen. And you know what? It's probably going to happen again.
Why?
2 pushes is certainly not out of the norm. Especially, you saw the reasons why, right?
The court held a post-discovery status conference.
Yeah.
Today.
So what happened is that he has criminal trials, which take precedent over civil trials.
This makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, you know what's interesting is I looked at the astrology.
I don't think he understands who he's fucking with. I don't think he realizes this is Blake fucking Lively here.
She'll get it changed because she's so powerful. Is that what you're saying?
This is Blake Lively. It's her court.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I already saw somebody saying like, well, if she wanted it delayed, then it would be delayed because she owns Judge Lyman.
Delicate is here. Erica is here. Stacy is here. Fellbombling is here.
That's wonderful.
She's got the popcorn ready.
Okay, so, but we don't know why. It's just because everything's been delayed.
We know why. It's because of the
So the judge. It's from the judge.
It's
though.
just the judge.
It's
The judge
okay,
says,
cool.
"Yo, I gotta push. Expect another one. Expect this thing to go down in June or July. It's possible that it still goes, in May now. May 18th is the new date. Gemini, Gemini, man. So, yeah, we'll see what happens.
All right. Lively v. Baldoni trial date used to be March 9th. And I remember this being really problematic because Mercury's in retrograde.
Yeah. That's right. The astrology was bad.
The astrology was bad. I looked at both of their charts and I was like, well.
In fact, when you said that the astrology was bad, I said, it's not even going to go on that day anyway. And I know I said that.
Yeah.
Because I've been through this.
Because you're smart. But it's also that, there's a lot of other bad shit happening on the March 9th. So I'm glad that it's pushed. So
I was actually surprised it held this long. I was sitting around thinking, holy fuck, they might actually get this thing off in March because, practically 3 months out with the holiday, you're like, okay, we're 3 months out. Like, man, this is going to get locked.
Yeah.
Do
we know what the new date is though? Because
it's May 18th.
May 18th.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm editing my astrology.
You're gonna get the
I'm
new.
Look up the astrology. May 18th.
I wonder if astrologers are pissed because Google turned its AI's name into Gemini.
Oh, I'm sure they understand exactly why they did that. They probably consulted an astrologer about their launch date.
I know, but it still fucks up with their how many fucking Gemini astrologer kind of names are there now?
Oh my God, this is so much better.
Is it?
Yes. So May 18th.
Oh, here's the astrology of May 18th, the new trial date.
This is so much better.
For Lively v. Baldoni.
Okay. Wow.
Okay, let's hear
it out.
Yeah. Guy, if you could I wish I could put it up on the screen.
Well, it's just fucking symbols and shit. If
people like symbols, Angela. What are you talking
anyway.
about? We put them on our necks and we put them on our rings. We love symbols.
Okay, so check it out. The Jupiter is still in exaltation, but that's the entire year all the way through the summer.
Yeah, hallelujah.
We have Venus and the moon conjoining in Gemini.
Mm-hmm.
We also have Mercury in its own domicile in Gemini, and it's in direct motion. It's very healthy, happy Mercury. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's also conjoining Uranus. So it's going to be,
wow,
revelations, surprising revelations, protesting, all the
revolution.
That kind of, yes, revolutionary communication. Okay.
North Trolls just showed up. What's up?
The malefics are, let's see. Mars is in domicile at the 29th degree of Aries. So that's pretty fiery. And Taurus is also in Aries, and that's the sign of its fall. So it's not a very happy.
I wonder if there's an actual start time. We could get an actual ascendant.
Did I say Taurus?
Huh?
What did I say? Saturn? Whatever. Saturn is in its fall in Aries.
Oh. So Saturn, so both malefics are in Aries?
Yes. But Saturn, unlike in March, Saturn has departed from the orb of influence with Neptune, which is so huge because that was going to be a real difficult time discerning fact from fiction. Like, I feel like the jurors would be like, I don't know who to believe in a March trial date, but in a May 19th trial date is much easier. Okay. Anyway, I'll stop now because I won't bore you guys with this, but it's way healthier.
Great.
I haven't looked at it compared to their charts.
Yeah, that's going to be fun when we look
Who
at like
will
Blake
win?
Lively and Justin Baldoni.
And who will be the victor?
Yeah, I was waiting for that one. All right. Well, listen, we're doing Melissa Nathan. We should jump right in because this one's. I imagine this has got to be thick. Here's the thing, man. We gotta pay close attention here because there is a liar afoot.
Who?
Melissa Nathan is a liar,
Yes.
like a genuine liar. I'll say this about Justin Baldoni. I believe he tried to tell the truth during his deposition. And it's a very interesting thing because I think that's also true for Tobey Maguire for the most part. Tobey tried to tell the truth. He definitely ran into some, thorny vines along the way and ouched his way through them. But he tried to tell the truth.
That was not my impression of Tobey Maguire's deposition at all.
Oh, we'll have to go through it again.
I'm surprised that you think.
Go do your own research has arrived.
Oh, sweet. We should do a live where we read Tobey Maguire's deposition.
Well, no, we don't have to read it.
We can show it.
We got
That's
Tobey
true.
Maguire. We're going to
We
do
got the
Tobey
video.
Maguire and Leonardo DiCaprio's full depositions, probably reasonably soon. You know,
maybe we'll have a March trial date.
the fun thing we should do before we do that is just line up like other people's sides in the deposition so we can read those to Leo and to Toby's videos. Oh shit. That'd be fun, man. I'm telling you, that'd be fun.
That's true. It would be.
Especially for people who read the book, because they're going to be talking about events that are written about specifically in the book from my perspective. Okay.
Oh, go do your own research. She said is here.
Yeah.
Yeah, she said good evening, y'all. Go do your own research. Did a live today where she read a deposition.
Yeah.
I think it was Jennifer Abels.
Sachs, I think.
I mean, sorry. Yeah, sex. I don't know why I keep confusing those in my mind. I think it's because they both have 4-letter last names.
I think her deposition, I think her deposition so far to me is the most detrimental to them because it's not Blake Lively.
I agree. It's actually hard to choose because damn, you were saying Justin Baldoni got totally tricked by Melissa Nathan. That is really damning.
Yeah.
Because he can't deny that
that was super explosive.
Yes.
Really, that was the most. Well, here's the thing. I think that the most damaging thing to Justin Baldoni, to the case so far that I've read in these depositions that you've read for us was Sachs. I think the most unbelievable moment so far that we've been exposed to, without question, it's not even close, is when Justin Baldoni learned that Melissa Nathan had been lying to his fucking face.
That he texted her and was like, I can't believe that Blake Lively and Leslie Sloan are attacking me in the press like that. And Melissa Nathan, fully knowing that she is the one responsible for what he was referring to, told him, yeah, man, we can't believe it either. We'll take care of it though. I don't think he looks so bad. Like, didn't fucking tell him she was behind it. It's crazy.
Propensity what is propensity evidence? Is that like an actual legal term or are we just using the word propensity?
Deanne says Sachs is propensity evidence.
Yeah, what is that?
Alex Sachs.
Propensity, I'm looking it up.
Propensity evidence.
Oh yeah, meaning. Here we go.
I learned so much from you guys.
You guys are awesome. Propensity evidence is evidence of a person's past actions or character traits used to suggest, of course, that they are more likely to have acted similarly in a current situation, like a prior theft used to prove a current theft. That's true. The interesting thing about this, though, and I think you can get propensity evidence out of the book and out of the podcast and out of the TED Talk, because in there he speaks quite openly about things like not knowing when to take no for an answer, for exploiting women, and so on and so forth. Just a bunch of stuff. I won't like put words in his mouth because you guys know. So there's that. But Sachs to me is even more than propensity evidence because it's the same movie. So it goes directly to the complaint because a part of establishing, potentially at least, a part of establishing sexual harassment in the workplace is a hostile work environment.
Yeah.
So if you have a guy literally physically threatening women on set, then you got your hostile work environment like wrapped.
Yeah, and it completely KOs his story that Lively told, like turned the cast and crew against him.
Yeah.
Like they're developing their own negative opinions of him based on their own experiences with him.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Well, I mean, that's another thing. And I think
man.
that's to propensity, right? I think because in propensity evidence, it sounds to me, at least by this definition, by the way that Deanne seems to be working with it here, is like very much that, you know, I think that would fall in that category very much so.
Deanne says that so Alex Sachs's deposition is helpful for this propensity evidence, but so is Claire Ayoub's testimony.
More so in terms of as propensity, right? Because she's not directly involved with any of it.
Deanne
So
said
definitely.
Sachs also nails him on not investigating. Oh man.
It's bad, dude.
I think I agree with you. If we're going to measure all of the depositions so far, I haven't read them all. I'm reading them as I read them to you here live.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's exciting.
So, I
You
don't
do
know.
such a great job for us.
Thanks.
No, I've been reading them because we're gonna create. Right now, we got the live playlists lists, but eventually, I'm going to chapter everything so that people are gonna have easy ways to get right to the questions that were asked,
That's cool.
including ourselves.
Yeah.
So that's stuff that's in the works, and I've got more time to work on it now
Yeah. Right.
before trial.
But anyway, I wanted to mention, go do your own research as reading these depositions live too.
Yes.
So you guys should go follow her channel and
Sure.
try and catch those lives if you know, I know that you did it earlier today, so maybe that's perfect.
Yeah, well, she's got her replays and stuff, so you should definitely check out if you want to get some more readings. Check out her channel for sure. She's awesome. I did an interview with them. It was fun.
You had a good time.
Yeah. We did an interview.
I remember.
Yeah, it was a good time. It was like we did a couple hours. I think we did a live together. It was great. Junkyard Farm. Is that his name? Yeah,
The Junk Farm.
Junk Farm. You know, he's cool as fuck. He showed up. He was he hung out with us when we did our live.
Oh, that's neat.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I thought I was all like, oh look at we brought a viewer from our channel, but no. He was from her channel.
Oh, the Junk Farm is with us today. Said this delay in the trial.
Yeah.
For the trial date says it makes me think it's not getting tossed on summary judgment.
It's definitely not.
But do you think that the judge telegraphed that by setting
Yes.
a different date?
No, it's very astute. Definitely, that's true. It's 100%. It's definitely. I mean, we know this. There's no summary judgment. You think fucking
I
Baldoni's
wonder-
going to get this case kicked out? We literally have a woman in Alex Sachs claiming she was physically threatened by Justin Baldoni, and you're going to throw that case out? What judge
Yeah, no,
would do
I know.
that?
It's also I wonder if they're going to prevail on any of the points that they made though, because it's not like
There
summary
might be
judgment
parts
is-
of it thrown out.
Yeah,
So
that's what I mean.
yeah, that's a good point. There might be some parts thrown out, and I would actually venture to guess there will be. I can't wait to get to the heart of the matter and see what the fuck Andy Signor and Melissa Nathan were texting, since we're about to read her deposition.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be an interesting pairing when that finally hits.
Oh, Deanne said that January 22nd is the hearing for the summary judgment. That's interesting. They have a hearing first instead of just ruling on the
Yeah,
motions.
well, we get to argue to the bench.
That's gonna be spicy. Maybe.
Maybe we'll be able to dial in.
I don't know how controlled all these lawyers are. Delicate says that Claire Ayoub's testimony proves malice on Steve Sarawitz's part.
Yes.
I agree with this too. I can't remember who it was that said that.
I don't know how it doesn't.
I think
I'll
it must
say
have been
that about
somebody
it.
on Reddit because I can't remember who it was, but somebody said that Steve Sarowitz has the best case for being excluded, like
Yes.
dismissed from the case, and I totally disagree because he's the one who's making threats with such little information, and he's funding the whole smear campaign. So I think he's in it. Okay, so what else did you want to talk about today?
Okay, a couple of quick things, a little housekeeping since we're so deep into this stuff and we don't know we're going to get out because there's like still hundreds of pages of stuff to read.
Mm-hmm.
So DiCaprio he won, or I guess he was esteemed entertainer of the year by Time Magazine.
So weird. He did one thing and like a couple of interviews.
This movie
What do you
just
mean
won
of the
the
year?
LA Critics or whatever, one of the big LA awards. This movie, I'm telling you, they're calling it a generational masterpiece. And we're talking about the guy who made If You Want Blood. Sorry, There Will Be Blood. If You Want Blood is by AC/DC. It's a great live record, and I recommend it. It's with Bon Scott. He's one of my favorite frontmen of all time. Back to the topic. So DiCaprio's movie is a masterpiece. This is what the consensus is, that one battle after another is a masterpiece. So he is now on the cover of Time magazine as Entertainer of the Year. I didn't know that people even when's the last time you saw the cover except for them telling you there was a cover? Do you know what I mean? I think when there's absolutely zero covers ever anywhere, there's still going to be like the cover.
No, they have to tell you about it because everything's online now. So it's not like you're just walking by the newsstand, you know?
Connie DiCaprio loved it, said Leo was really good in it.
Fantastic. Good for
She's
him.
totally not biased. She does not, she's not even related.
I just can't believe that Entertainer of the Year isn't either of those late night talk show hosts that got,
shocked that it's not Stephen Colbert.
That they weren't used for political, fighting.
Yeah, there's a couple of other. I mean, like
Stephen Colbert and
what's
Kimmel,
his name?
right?
Bad Bunny would have been another choice.
Yeah, people that actually did stuff during
like
the
Super
year.
Bowl. They tried to get him off the Super Bowl, and not only did he not get Bad Bunny's a great candidate for it, because not only did he not get booted off the Super Bowl, but he ended up sort of taking the streaming title off of Taylor Swift on Spotify.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, lots of people who were.
That's a fucking to have to parlay this controversy into such strength. That's Entertainer of the Year. No, wild.
Right.
That's wild. I mean, that's you've got to imagine that there's some kind of change coming behind that. You just got to imagine it. But look, Leo's getting it because exquisite level of publicity coming our way. His publicity is gonna be huge. Expect heavy foot on neck, Dale. I'm gonna be muzzled. My shit's gonna be muzzled.
You think he's gonna
the only
order?
people the only way my book ever gets talked about is gonna be by bloggers. That's it.
Do you think he's gonna order one of these attack websites from Melissa Nathan?
On me? It's possible.
Did you see today that
I don't know what they would put on it. Dale is a bad person. He
there-
is a very, 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 very bad person. All you have to do is look at him and see how bad he must be.
I think they could just make shit up, If they have a website that they're like, oh, we're reporting on Dale Wheatley and all of his crimes,
That was super. They got fucking AI and all this shit.
Today we saw
confessing to murders.
Dale,
What?
I'm stuttering over here trying to speak.
Yeah, all right.
Today we found that JonesWorks put a filing on the docket that alleges that Melissa Nathan and Jed Wallace are behind at least 8 of these takedown websites.
Yes.
And so there's a bunch of, I don't know who these people are, but apparently there's a bunch of K-pop stars who were victims of this treatment. And the people on Reddit were talking about how that
People fucking suck so thoroughly. What is going on, man?
No, I know. I should actually pull this
What
up
the
because
fuck,
this is
man?
so
No,
heinous.
you can't play fair. You got to be like a cheating, lying scumbag. You can't just play fair. You can't I just fucking these people, man. They won't deal with the facts. They can't deal with the facts. That's what we have. You know what? That's what I love about some of the new folks that are coming around. I hope they come around again tonight.
Mm-hmm.
People like X Lady, I think is her name, and then there's another one, Quarter Master or something. I'll get the Quarter one. I'll get that name right. Should she show up again today? I like these folks so much because they're able to hang out with us with their differences of opinion. You know what I mean? They're just creating this hate and divisiveness.
Yeah.
And it permeates, and it's you can hear it in their own testimony. You can hear it in Justin Baldoni's. It's very interesting. Anyway,
I wanted to bring this to you.
Okay.
So Stephanie Jones filed her amended complaint against Jen Abel and Melissa Nathan.
Yeah.
And their associates. Okay.
Yeah.
This is on It Ends With Court, and this was posted by Margie Weston is her username. According to the complaint, Nathan and Wallace have allegedly been orchestrating smear campaigns not only against Jones, but against at least 8 other people as well, spanning a variety of powerful and public figures. The complaint alleges these websites are forensically linked sharing digital footprints that prove Nathan and Wallace's involvement.
Oh my God, I just love this so fucking much. I love it so much.
I know, so check this out. I have to...
It is a little bit of a faulty sign. Do you remember the Karen retrial?
Yeah. This user, JJJ000, whatever, said it was fascinating to see the K-pop connection, as I've long been waiting to see Hybe, you know, Scooter Braun's company.
I have to laugh a little bit because Mr. Hands is here.
Oh, he's joking.
And he just said that Entertainer of the Year should have been given to Vonnie Verbisi. I must know this person, bro. Vonnie Verbisi, or had known them, should have been given to Vonnie Verbisi for building all those damn VistaVision cameras with his bare hands. This was shot on 35 millimeter film. The whole thing, I swear it. As if that's a breakthrough.
For those of you that don't know, Giovanni Ribisi made his cinematography debut, his director of photography debut on a movie, and they for some reason they did a title card at the beginning of the movie that talked about what gear he was using and how he was filming the.
That he shot the movie
I know,
on film.
Both of us had never seen that before, and it's his first movie, so where everybody's like, "Settle down, Bonnie." Relax, bud.
What do I get for shooting mine on 16? Do I get a prize for shooting on 16 and blowing up to 35?
So he's just started, and he wants credit for every single thing.
I mean, I didn't shoot it, so that's not true. I mean, hey, congratulations. He can run a loaded camera, you know? I mean,
okay, but listen, do you want to hear about this or not?
that's just funny as fuck.
It is really funny.
And deserved not just my attention, but everybody's.
If I didn't have it right in front of me, I'd forget what I was talking about.
Keep going. Hey, listen, ADHD is my middle name.
Okay, so apparently this person, JJJ000, on
JAAOO? What?
Yeah, whatever. It's a username. I'm trying to give people credit for posting interesting stuff that I'm reading to
Thank you.
Like,
okay.
I don't want to just like steal content. You know
That's
what I'm
nice of
saying?
you. Yeah.
So this person is just saying it was fascinating in Stephanie Jones's amended complaint to see the K-pop connection, as I've long been waiting to see Hybe, which is Scooter Braun's company, and Scooter and Nathan all connected together to go after the K-pop rivals.
Oh my God.
Now, this is a whole thing I'm not even aware of, that there's like all this beefing on that side of the world. Been scratching my head for ages as to why Hybe America paid a preposterous multiple for Tag for 50%, but now my long speculation of weaponizing takedown PR and online tech to take out K-pop rivals is, as the K-pop world might be going through a consolidation or perhaps reorganization, might just be playing out as speculated long ago.
That's just fucking crazy.
I know. Cannot wait to hear more
What
about this possible angle and possible directions from Scooter Braun and Hybe Korean management.
They're just fucking cheaters. That's just cheating.
Welcome to the party, Hybe and Scooter Braun and Tag. Hope the K-pop rivals are taking close note of these allegations and wake up. And this one I wanted to share with you because it's so upsetting. Are you ready to be upset?
Oh my God.
Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
The mentions of... Wait, let me see if I'm in the right spot. Hang on a second.
You got me all fucking upset already.
So they have an exhibit up from an expert witness who's a digital forensics assessment, but it's like 29 pages and it's really dense and I don't even understand it. But that's on the docket. I wonder if it got taken down, but there was somebody who was saying that one of the people that they went after... Okay, cool. For those who don't know, Alexis Nichols is former Nick Child actress who spoke up about abuse she suffered on the set as a child.
Mm.
I could actually cry thinking about victims speaking out and then Melissa Nathan making websites just to destroy them.
Wow.
It is my opinion that Melissa Nathan and Jed Wallace run a truly disgusting and harmful operation. The evidence supports this. This person said, so that was Zeus123. This person, Comfortable Fruit, said, no wonder she has such horrible stomach issues where she's vomiting regularly.
Is that true?
We've seen that in the text messages.
Fabulous.
Where she's talking about being sick to her stomach a lot.
Yeah, good. You know,
said,
you know what's going to happen to her teeth then, too.
He said it's probably because her line of work is so disgusting and vile that it makes her sick to her stomach, knowing the pain she causes other people.
She's tormented.
I genuinely
That's
cannot
torment.
understand how anyone could ever do 1/100th of the things she's allegedly done, but smearing a victim of childhood sexual assault and exploitation is just so beyond comprehension to me.
She's being attacked by a daimon at night. She's getting like metaphysical, like spears in her gut.
It's like roiling discomfort inside of her trying to get her to stop.
She's look, she has to be a terrible
bro.
person.
Yeah.
She has to be a terrible person. I don't know her. I can only opine on whatever comes to the surface. And, you know, sometimes beautiful things come to the surface, flowers, but also scum comes to the surface. And this looks like scum. Like she looks like scum.
There's a lot of times where Jennifer Abel, she does this really interesting telegraphing of her fighting with her conscience, okay? Where she will say in text message, part of me wants to do this. And she'll always say that it's like the bad duplicitous thing, like the deceitful thing.
Yeah.
Part of me wants to. And then she'll say what she wants to do that's deceitful. And I'm like, lady, that's your like inner Jiminy Cricket. Like your conscience is screaming at you.
No, it's almost like
you're divided.
Some of the conversations you've heard between serial killers and their conscience, right? Like the whole like, you know, oh, you don't have to do this. You know?
Don't make me do it. Yep, it's pretty tangled web, but I'm really grateful. I'm grateful to Stephanie Jones and I'm grateful to Blake Lively for exposing all of this. You know how many more people are going to suffer if they don't?
I'm worried about Connie DiCaprio because Connie DiCaprio is going to work. She's working hard. She wants to make a movie. I think that like I can feel Connie DiCaprio. I can feel everybody, but there's something about Connie DiCaprio that I can really like connect with as far as her kindness. It's because it's genuine, you know. And so I get worried about it, you know, because we're all a little bit jaded, you know. I am
about making a movie,
just life in general, you know. But Connie DiCaprio was like a genuinely optimistic human, like through and through optimistic, an optimist. She can hear it in just the things she says here on the chat alone. You know, there's something, and so I get worried because it's just dropping the jades. You know, like we're just dropping bad news all day about humanity because these are pervasive problems. This isn't like individuals. Do you know what I mean? These are networks of the most horrible human beings, destroying other horrible beings, destroying perfectly innocent people who are doing nothing but creating work that they want to put out with their dreams in their hands and hearts, you know?
I think that there's a lot of defensive things that a person could do to make sure that they don't get dragged into some sort of issue. And there's a lot of people, like for every one of these stories about people who have a relationship that goes this south, you know, this bitter, this like damaging. A lot of times there was a bunch of early red flags that they just decided to ignore or chose to ignore because it was better for the project or whatever.
Yeah.
But there's, you know, oftentimes really early, you'll see that there's like some behavior you excused and we're like, okay, well, whatever, let's just get through it, you know? And then it just turns into something bad. I don't know that that's always the case. And obviously you can't blame a victim of what somebody does to them.
I'm just feeling protective. I feel like, earmuffs. The world is bad, you know? Because here's what I believe.
It's good to hear these cautionary tales, though, don't you think?
I do. I'm just saying, like, to me, it's the genuine optimism of Connie DiCaprio that, like, I believe young artists need to just take the dive and do something beautiful and do something real and let it come from within and allow that to be the seed that might be, you know, their tree of beauty and art and expression. And so the less jaded, the better. When I made Dawn's Plum, I was not jaded. I was a genuinely optimistic human being who believed that we were, and what I actually saw was collaboration. What I actually saw was people who, you know, were excited and aiming in the same direction. And that was what was, you know, that was the rose-colored glasses through which I looked, and I think most people did.
I think you have to also recognize that there's like it's so common that there's a saying, they call it tall poppy syndrome.
Yeah.
Where it's basically like, okay, if you're the flower in the field of other flowers, and you grow the tallest, you're the one that's going to be the most windblown. You're going to be the most susceptible to like being, you know, grazed on by whatever wildlife. You're going to be mowed sooner because you're taller than everybody else. It's the tall poppy syndrome. Like if you rise above your peers and you do something extraordinary, people are going to take shots at you. I think that it's just something that's so common. This is just something you have to learn to deal with. Yeah. I think that I feel like it's the best advice that I ever give anybody when I'm doing astrology readings. What I mean by best is it tends to land with people where they recognize like, oh, this is something I can do. Mm-hmm. It's just that you're not meant to suffer in relationships that are like toxic or bad for you, what you're meant to do is be discerning about who you get into a relationship with. Like you're supposed to be really picky about who gets to share your energy and your life and your creative input and everything,
That's lovely.
Like you're just supposed to, like, you don't have to suffer mistreatment. Like you're kind of choosing to, like, I mean, unless obviously it's a really extreme situation in which you're captive, but I don't know, man. I just feel like people don't feel as empowered as they are.
There's a certain, like people can feel as though they aren't choosing. I stayed in a bad relationship for years and years, and we need to get to our topic, but I stayed in a bad relationship for many, many years because I felt this devotion and this loyalty and this need to, and I should have moved on. I'm so glad I didn't, because here I am with you. But and believe me,
you would have found somebody else.
I would have taken the longer path to get to you any day. So,
that's sweet.
But that doesn't change the fact that I allowed myself to be trapped in a situation that I felt like. So I guess what I'm saying is I felt as though I was the one being trapped, even though I was the one who was remaining in something I didn't need to be in.
Yeah.
And
right.
that I found out later, eventually, that the feeling was mutual anyway. And she was like, oh, if you fuck off, I'll fuck off. And I'm like, really?
Yeah,
okay,
man.
let's fuck off then.
That people pleaser shit will get you miserable, man.
It can be a problem. And this is, I think, a lot of what, a lot of people who succeed early learn early.
Yeah.
That they hold their own down. And all right, let's get to it. We're talking shit. Let's get down to the fucking tea.
Therapy's over.
I feel better.
Time's up. Get out.
I feel better. Thank you very much. Let's get on to this this wicked woman, and let's see what tales she spins.
Okay, what tales does Melissa Nathan spin? Let's have a look.
So it's so weird that I like immediately think she's a liar. Like you haven't even started reading. I'm like, liar.
Well, it was exposed for Justin Baldoni what a liar she was. What was that sound?
I don't know. Wasn't it cute?
Was that a notification?
I don't know.
It was like a little bubble.
It was a bubble. I don't know if it was out of my cup because my cup was moving at the same time. I don't know.
Okay, well, if it happens again, I'll be delighted.
It was lovely, wasn't it? It was like a little fish just in a still pond.
All right. Let me just get situated here a second. Okay, shall we start?
Please.
Melissa Nathan was deposed September 29th, 2025 in Los Angeles.
God, we were young, huh? Remember that?
Okay, so they're the depositions that either, I think it's Blake Lively's case and Stephanie Jones's case. But anyway, so we're only seeing the part of the depositions that they think are useful for their side. So
Surely.
It's no wonder that we keep seeing these revelations and we're like, oh, Baldoni's done. Because of course it's like the plaintiffs are the ones who are using this,
For sure, yeah.
Okay, so starts on page 48. Okay. I don't know who the lawyer is. I'm sure he or she will be introduced in a minute. Okay. When you said you understood that you were required to preserve everything related to this matter, Miss Lively had allegations other than sexual harassment allegations, correct? That's pretty interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Melissa Nathan said, whatever was in there, I knew I was meant to preserve it, and I did that. Okay. And you knew that those preservation requirements extended to text messages and social media accounts and emails, right? And Melissa Nathan says, from the 20th of December, I knew that, yes. And including messages sent through WhatsApp or Signal or other ephemeral messaging platforms.
You notice the line they drew there? Like
yes.
And they're all drawing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking cheats. They're lying. They're not going to get that past a judge. Steve Sarwood said they were loitering up, and she was in the fucking call.
That was in August? Yeah.
And that was in August.
Mm-hmm.
So her little like line in the sand that she wants to draw and say, well, no, yeah, from this date, I did. And we already see the manipulation that she put in those early texts where she got caught being the lying scumbag that she is.
You're all fired up.
Well, right out of the bat, this chick. I don't even know how lawyers don't do it. I'd be like... my client would be like, you can't do that, Dale.
Let me at her.
I was like, I wasn't gonna choke her. I was just gonna act like I was gonna choke her.
I have to read. You can't be so funny.
Okay.
Okay. From the 20th of December, she says, I knew that, yes. Question, and including messages sent through WhatsApp or Signal or other ephemeral messaging platforms? And she said, I did. Okay, and did you preserve all of your messages after this point in time? She said, I did. You have a messaging app on your phone. Do you have any auto delete functions enabled, so far as you know, on your text messages on your phone? Your regular messaging app, not Signal or WhatsApp or any other. And Melissa Nathan says, during what time period, in general or my text? He said in general. She said no. The lawyer says, and did you at any point during the time period of July 1st, 2024 to the present? July 1st. So that's when Melissa Nathan got engaged as Baldoni's crisis PR.
Yeah.
And did you at any point during the time period of July 1st, 2024 to the present ever have an auto delete function enabled on your regular messaging app or on your phone? She said no.
Remember, she told him to fucking lawyer up.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, she told him to lawyer up.
She brought Friedman to the fucking table.
I know, August 13th or 14th, I think was the date.
And so what Friedman said, well, you can delete shit. You can fucking, totally obstruct this case until it becomes official.
Gottlieb is the one questioning. We can see now.
Oh, that's what I wanted to do, and we
transcript.
should play it. Was the fucking Brian Friedman TMZ interview?
Oh my God!
Did you guys see the Brian Friedman got just mobbed by paparazzi earlier today?
It's so staged. It's the most staged.
It's the most staged, ridiculous fucking thing.
Because Brian Friedman is not allowed to make public statements anymore on like the Megyn Kelly show or whatever. So what they did was they staged somebody with a camera to walk up to him in the middle of fucking nowhere where he's like...
There's literally no one but this reporter.
No one but the two of them around.
The motherfucker walks out. Oh, hey, me? Brian, over here. Brian.
I know.
One fucking person. Oh, hey, look at that. It's somebody from TMZ. Isn't that a news organization of some kind?
I know. And
he was literally just on the Two Angry Men podcast.
And the person with the camera has 4 questions, and they're extremely well like planned, stated.
One more thing. Oh yeah, okay, yeah. You almost missed the one we talked about.
Yeah, we'll play that later.
We'll play it later. Go ahead.
Okay. Okay. Gottlieb is asking, you sometimes use Signal, is that right? She says, I do. And you were using Signal, at least for some purposes, in July and August of 2024. Is that right? She says, it is. And Signal is not like the standard Apple messaging product. Is that right? And Melissa Nathan says, I can't speak to the Apple messaging product, but I know what Signal is used for. Gottlieb is asking, and what is it used for? And Nathan says, it's been really popular, especially in all of our live business over the last couple of years, because there's an option that it auto deletes messages for private communication to deal with all clients. Gottlieb says, okay, that's been popular in your line of work over the last couple of years. She says, it is.
You crook.
You fucking crook.
You fucking crook.
And why would you want something like that?
Why would you need it?
Yeah, right. And Gottlieb asks, do you use it for many clients that you work for? And Melissa Nathan says, not all, but it's become popular over the last couple of years, yes.
It's been very helpful in my fabrication of life.
Gottlieb said, not all, but a significant number. And she said, I would, yeah. And it's becoming more so, yes. Okay, and you used Signal for communications relating to the Wayfair parties, is that right? And she says, at what point? Gottlieb says, well, when was the first time that you can remember sending or receiving a Signal message that concerned Justin Baldoni, the Wayfair parties, Blake Lively, any of the things connected to this case? She said, I can't remember that. He asks, was it in August of 2024? She said, I don't know.
Yeah, you do.
You don't know, as you sit here today, whether you sent or received a single message on Signal in August of 2024 related to this matter? She said, I don't know. You used Signal when you communicated with Jed Wallace, is that right? She said, amongst other things, yes. He's asking, what other things? She said, telephone.
Crow.
What?
Crow.
Oh, that's how she communicates?
She sent a crow.
By carrier pigeon?
By carrier pigeon.
So he's asking, what other things?
We do sign language. We do the op language. Dope lapi.
Pig Latin.
We do pig Latin.
Okay.
Elad.
Listen, telephone. So she's answering telephone, text, email. And to the best of her knowledge, that's it. He's asking voice memos. She says, I don't send voice memos. He's asking, have you received voice memos from Mr. Wallace? She said, yes. Do any of those voice memos have an auto delete function attached to them? She said, I'm not sure. Let me just scoot over.
Go ahead and pull out your phone, Miss Nathan, and browse through and just let us know if you find any of them as we sit here. Objection.
Do you have any understanding of what the auto deleted function was set to on your signal threads? What your sort of standard is that you use? And that earned an objection. But she answers, on which particular thread? You have to be more specific. Gottlieb says, well, you don't have a recollection of when you started using Signal for the Wayfair parties, right? She said no. He said, I'm trying to just ask you generally because you don't have that recollection. If you know, generally speaking, if you have a typical period of time that you use for your client's work when you're using a Signal thread. She said, I don't know. Gottlieb says, how about with Mr. Friedman? You are on Signal threads with him? She said, I am. And what is your typical deletion time that you have set for your communications with him? She said, I'm not sure. Excuse me. Is it more than a week? She said, I'm not sure. Do you have a guess? She said, I don't have a guess. She's just lying.
Maybe not. She might like set to the default. Who knows?
Gottlieb is asking, but there's a deletion function set, right? And she said, well, it depends on which conversation you're speaking about. Gottlieb says, okay, do you use any other messaging apps other than Signal and text and email? She said, I do have WhatsApp on my phone, but I barely use it. Did you ever use WhatsApp for anything connected to the issues in this case? She said, not to my knowledge. Any other messaging apps? No. Do you ever use Telegram for this case? Not to my knowledge.
Isn't that the Russian one that's also sketchy in some way?
Every single messaging app is going to be sketchy.
No, sketchy in terms of like the purpose of using it. In the same way that like using Signal as an auto delete.
Yeah, I think there was the Trump administration scandal involving Telegram, I think.
I have Signal on my phone.
You do?
I didn't even know I had it.
Huh.
I think so. I think I read it like the latest in blah blah blah, and so I was like, is it the latest really? And then I downloaded it, but I found it on my phone. I'm like, do I have it? Oh, and then check this out. Then I got approached by a filmmaker in a far off land.
Okay, but are you supposed to say this?
I'm going to say what I can. I got approached by a filmmaker in a far off land who was trying to put together a very long-term project. And they wanted to have a conversation with me that auto-deleted.
Crimes. You're doing crimes.
That's how I found out I had it, because they were like, we would prefer to do it on this
And that's
thing.
how I found out you're doing crimes.
And then I was like, okay, I didn't do no crimes.
No, I'm kidding.
I didn't even, whatever, I was like, you can get everything I said to them was said on my channel. So.
Okay, so he's asking
except
about.
maybe one thing.
So Melissa Nathan doesn't know about any of this other stuff, okay? Let me just see if I can move on to the next thing.
Yeah, see, Deanna's saying it's sketchy. It's used by underground groups. Telegram.
Okay. This is a big page jump. So here we are. Question, do you have a recollection of who was on the first call that you had with Wayfair? Melissa Nathan said, I think it was just Jamie and Jen, I think. So just Mr. Heath and Miss Abel? She says yes. And you don't have a recollection of Miss Hanks being a part of that discussion? And Melissa Nathan says no. Gottlieb says, okay, let's look at Miss Nathan. I'm handing you what has been marked Exhibit 4. This appears to be an email from Katie Case to you and some other people on Friday, July 26th, 2024, with some emails below it. Do you recognize this document? And she does. What is it? Melissa Nathan says, this is an email sent by Katie to the Wayfair team thanking for the call and attaching the scope of work. Oh, and we have this in the evidence.
Mm.
Okay, and if we work backwards from the bottom of the page, the first page of this document, you see a series of emails here. The first one is Thursday, July 25th, 2024 at 9:25 p.m. Do you see that? And she does. And that's from Mr. Heath to Katie Case, Tara Hanks. And then I see your email. And is that Miss Coslow's email? And she confirms at the top, yes. Okay, so Mr. Heath has sent a message to you, Miss Hanks, Miss Case, Miss Coslow, that simply says, and he's reading, this is a quote, "Thank you, Katie," at 9:25 p.m. on the 25th of July. Is that right? She says that's correct. And Miss Hanks replies, also on the 25th of July, looks like around 6:30 p.m. And this reads, and this is a quote, "I would love to jump on a Zoom now if possible. If that works, can you please provide a link?" And she affirms that she sees that. And then you respond at 12:42 a.m. on Friday, July 26th, saying, and this is a quote, "Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us. Jen and our team will connect tomorrow and go through everything. We will aim to have a plan to you by the end of tomorrow." Do you see that? She says, "I do see that." Okay, so does that mean that you had a conversation with Mr. Heath and Miss Hanks at some point here in between the evening of July 25th and early in the morning of the 26th? And Melissa Nathan says, "I don't know if we spoke early in the morning of the 26th because it says, 'Thank you so much for the time last evening,' but that would mean the night before, yes." Okay, fair enough. So we'll stipulate to the evening of the 25th. You have...
What's the month again?
It is July 25th,
okay.
2024.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep. Thank you.
So you have a meeting, and then you see the top of the email is Miss Case responding, sending to you and that same group with a scope of work. Do you see that? She says yes. Is that the document that is attached here with the pages, and they have the catalog number on it? And Melissa Nathan says, "If this is what's been provided to you on that exact from our emails that you have, then yes." Okay, and then you see that on the first page, if you go back, it says attachments, Wayfair Studios, tag PR, scope of work, July 26, 2024. And she sees that. And then do you see the header on the top of the attachment that says scope of work, July 26, 2024? Does this look like the document you sent over to Wayfair Studios on the day? I'm sorry, this is so tedious, guys.
Go ahead. That's what we're doing. It's law.
She says, "I'm going to trust my lawyers and say to," and then that is the end of what we get to see on that one. So she's just affirming that the scope of work, which is a major piece of evidence in Lively's case, and probably Stephanie Jones's case too, is affirmed to be authentic from Melissa Nathan. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you want to catch up with the chat for just 2 seconds?
The authentication. Pete Hegseth shared battle plans on Signal, and a reporter from the Atlantic was on the chat. It was one of the most unbelievable. The world we live in is so weird. Deanna loves Gottlieb, and so do I. I think they're just great lawyers, both of them. Deanna says that they should have preserved from the 17-point list. Yes, exactly. From the 17-point list, they should have. Yes. Presumably even before that, but absolutely from that point on, you would think they would have wanted to. And this is the thing that is to me damning. I don't know that I can ever get to a jury and be damning, but to us it's damning, or to me it is. Why not? I would preserve everything.
Oh yeah, of course.
Everything.
I mean, I already do. I've got like a paper problem. There's
but
little scraps of everything
if
everywhere.
I knew there was an imminent dispute.
Yeah, for sure.
Bro, everything.
No, it's crazy how Jamie Heath was, according to Alex Sachs, Jamie Heath didn't want to investigate anything that was happening on the set, any complaints, because he didn't want it in writing. Like, that is so dumb. All of that stuff can exonerate. You can twist anything. If it's in writing, you can say exactly what happened and how it was a big misunderstanding.
Yeah, the other thing is you can think about like Nathan and Abel did, because they went through the tunnel and then they resumed their conversation like an hour later.
Yes, all right.
That was a conversation where I guarantee you that they were on Signal or some other form of chat where they were like, "Yo, we got to watch what we say. This shit is litigious."
Sure. But if you don't document anything and you are made to admit that something happened, then you just look really fucking guilty.
Yeah.
Okay. Should I continue?
Yes, please.
So this is just a little scrap of questioning that we get about this scope of work document, okay?
Yep.
Gottlieb is asking, okay, do you see in the overview how the document says, and he's reading, this is a quote, "There are several potential scenarios at play here, which we should be prepared for should Blake Lively and her team make her grievances public." And she affirms she sees that. Blake Lively and her team refers to Blake Lively... BL and her team refers to Blake Lively and her team. She says yes. "Who did you understand Miss Lively's team to be at this time?"
Not the Eagles, because they suck.
Oh, yeah, my condolences. You'll get them next week. And Melissa Nathan answers that Leslie Sloan and her publicist is who they're referring to. Okay?
Okay.
"Who else besides Leslie Sloan did you understand to be part of Miss Lively's team?" And Melissa Nathan said, I don't know anyone else.
Not even the spirit father.
Okay, so do you see the next sentence says, and this is a quote, given she was made to compromise with the premier, we feel she will move forward with doing so. Do you see that? She says yes. It was Tag's view that you all believed that Miss Lively and her team would make her grievances public. Melissa Nathan said, again, this is a scenario planning, so this is a possibility. This is not definitive. Gottlieb says, right. I mean the scenarios. I didn't ask you if you thought it was definitive that she would do so. I'm just saying what you're describing here in this first paragraph is there are scenarios that we need to be prepared for should she make her grievances public. And she says, absolutely. And then we believe, this is the lawyer continuing, and then we believe, given that she was made to compromise with the premier, that she will move forward with doing so. Do you see that? She said, yes. So all I'm asking you, it was your view or Tag's view, at least at the time, that Miss Lively was going to make her grievances public. Is that right? Melissa Nathan said, no, she could. You keep on saying that it's my view. This is like she could have made. Yes. And then he continues, we feel she will move forward with, and it gets cut off.
That's not going to save you, Melissa.
No, it's not.
That's not going to save you. It's like, no. Technically speaking.
It was just a plan.
Yes, so what? That means
It's
you
still
should be preserving.
It's still conspiracy.
Yeah.
It's aiding and abetting.
It's fucking aiding, that's not going to save you. Could. It's like I couldn't get over in Justin Baldoni's testimony in fucking September. Justin Baldoni, this September, he said under oath that Blake Lively somehow was taking control of her movie.
Yeah.
His movie.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow.
Yeah.
In September.
He doesn't know how.
He's going to go to fucking trial in a little while. And he's pulling out somewhere. Somehow. Sorry. Fucking drives me nuts. Ex-lady's here. She's an Eagles fan. Oh.
Our condolences.
Yeah, it's not easy being us.
Yeah. Usually it's pretty easy though. Usually it's
hey, we're Super Bowl champions currently, whatever. I love the Birds. This is the golden era of the Birds. I'm not taking any of it for granted. It sucks to lose, but I love them. They'll always be my sisters. All right, keep going.
Okay. Gottlieb is asking. So initially she answers. So this just starts at page 203 in the middle of nowhere. Okay.
Yeah.
The witness, Melissa Nathan, is saying, I can't speak to their work. I can only speak to my work. This is about Jed Wallace. Okay. Gottlieb asks, Street Relations was in fact engaged on a 3-month term for $30,000 a month. Is that right? And Melissa Nathan says, I'm happy. I know they were engaged by Wayfair, but if you have it, I can look at the terms. Okay, let's look at another document. This is
30
exhibit.
G's a month to monitor.
Yeah, nobody believes that. Yeah, the testimony. I mean,
Here's what I know.
The evidence shows otherwise too.
I know that in 2010, from 2010 to 2012, which was the last time I was in Hollywood fucking around, that the rates for a top shelf PR, monthly rates for top shelf PR, which would manage any issues coming, I'm talking top shelf, like they were working with huge names.
Yeah, like a big product launch or whatever.
$8,000 was the tops.
Yeah.
A month.
Right.
$5,000 was the average.
No, I know.
On the best publicist in town.
These people
a
fucking
month.
hosed them, bro.
30,000? No, they didn't. They bought a package.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't hose them. That was all what they bought in terms of, they bought the war room. You get those kinds of prices when you're sitting there asking for like a massive amount of work, not just managing the press that's getting, written about you.
I hope they had fun while it lasted. I hope it was
which
worth
would be
it.
monitoring.
Okay, Gottlieb is saying, you've been handed what's been marked as Exhibit 14. Take a minute to look at it. This is a text message dated August 17th. Miss Nathan, Exhibit 14 is a text message between you and Katie Case on August 7th, 2024. Do you see that at 12:26 p.m. you write to Miss Case that you're on with Jamie and Jen about social? She affirms she does. You were on a call with Mr. Heath and Miss Abel about the social, however we describe this, the social plan. And she says, if I wrote that, yes, I was at that time. Question. And it looks like Miss Case was not on that call with you. She says, let me know how it goes. And she said, yes, I see that. You see then at 12:27 p.m., you send through a draft of the text we looked at earlier with the 2 quotes in it. And she said, I do. And you said, I think quote 2 to Miss Case. Do you see that? And she affirms she does. And then at 12:36, you type out, and this is a quote he's reading, $30K monthly for 3-month minimum, properly and strategically monitor damaging Reddit/subreddit, X, Discord, or etc. threads relating to concerning opposition and manage the narrative. This can only be done.
See, that's monitoring and managing the narrative.
Yep.
Those are 2 things.
Yeah.
Those are they got
monitoring concerning opposition and manage the narrative. This can only be done with legacy admin for each platform. They work for us. She says, I see that. You wrote that? Melissa Nathan says, I did. Where did you get that language? Melissa Nathan says, I'm not sure where or who sent it to me.
I'm going with the ether.
Yeah. Question. Is there any person other than Jed Wallace who could have sent that to you? Melissa Nathan says, I wasn't speaking to anyone else on, and she corrects herself at this point for this case. Gottlieb is asking, and these services are a description of services that you believe Jed Wallace could provide, right? And Melissa Nathan says, I do not understand what these services are. So half of them, I don't understand what they are. Do you hear that?
Yes.
Gottlieb says, okay, what half do you understand? And she said, I understand monitoring. That's convenient. Okay. And she continues, I do understand.
Well, what's very interesting is if she understands monitoring and she only understands half of what's there, then it wasn't just monitoring.
That's a very good point, Dale.
If she understands monitoring and doesn't understand half of it, then something else was fucking going on.
Yeah. You're paying $30K. You're asking your clients to pay $30K for something you don't even understand, that you understand half of.
Go with it. I'm telling you. What does this do? Fuck if I know. He's a good guy. He's got a big family.
Okay, she continues. I do understand the wiki situation because I've had several issues with that from my other clients. That's why you need admin editors, which is very above board. Okay, and then so Gottlieb continues. That's a reference to the second sentence here. And he reads this quote, with seasoned admin editors on peripheral elements like Wikipedia and fan pages. She said, yes, you need to have editors to be able to overlook Wikipedia these days. It's different to what it used to be.
Fucking sucks, bro. When I was doing, I did Don's Plums wiki for a while, like a week.
You got bombarded.
It got changed every day. Like I would go in and I would correct it. Next day, completely changed.
This is what they fucking do, man.
But I ended up winning because I ended up keeping in like a lot of the important shit that needed to be there for people to go start looking for.
When was the last time you looked at it?
I haven't looked in a long time.
Because it's sad to see people lying on the internet about you, Mara.
Yeah, it breaks my heart. You wouldn't believe it.
Okay, so Gottlieb is asking
By the way, Hanada's here.
Oh, nice.
So it was good to see her. Shannon is here. I'm so sorry for your loss, Dale. What's the joke there? I forget.
Yesterday.
Yeah.
Your team.
Oh, my loss. Oh, God.
You just got reminded and it made you sad.
5 turnovers by Jalen Hurts.
No, I know, but we don't.
5.
I'm very sorry too, but.
He was throwing Frisbees.
Yeah, okay.
Go.
Okay, so Melissa Nathan, last answer. She said, yes, you need to have editors to be able to overlook Wikipedia these days. It's different to what it used to be. And Gottlieb is asking, so when you say overlook, you're meaning to watch changes to, and then she cuts him off. Melissa Nathan says,
hey,
to make sure the changes don't happen, because even when people add changes into your pages, as I've had, it's difficult to change them afterwards. It used to be easy. Gottlieb asks, what does this mean in the parenthetical here? And he's reading, this is a quote, this can only be done with legacy admin for each platform. They work for us. And Melissa Nathan says, I don't know. I know what legacy admin is. He says, what's that? She says, legacy admin is people that have been there for a long time, hence the Wikipedia stuff. Gottlieb says, people who have been there for a long time, and she clarifies, editors who can change wiki. That's what I think. He's asking, administrators at Wikipedia? She said, I think so. And you notice here it says each platform, right? And she said, yes. And he's asking, and above in the sentence, there's a reference to Reddit and X and Discord. These are platforms that have online content, right? And she said, yes. He says, presumably they have admins. She said, I have no idea. So apparently Melissa Nathan doesn't know shit about anything. This is really weird. Next question.
I'm stunned, really. Like, I don't know if it's obstruction or
Oh,
if...
yeah, for sure it is. She knows what she's fucking doing. Or maybe she doesn't. I don't know. Either way, it's bad.
Dude.
Okay.
People just fucking walk through life, man.
Question.
Throwing a couple buzzwords around and getting it done.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to make your brand by attacking women, there's going to be somebody that's going to hire you. Question. Have you ever had a conversation with Mr. Wallace in the entire time you've known him about admins at Reddit? And she said, not to my knowledge. So he's asking about X. She says, not to my knowledge. Discord. And she said, I don't even know what Discord is. Then you write.
I have difficulty with Discord.
Yeah, it's hard to navigate. It's brand new too. Like,
it's not that new. No.
Like 10 years. And I'm like, what is this newfangled?
I like my calculator.
Okay, Gottlieb says, and then you write, and he's quoting, again, the real value is when you can actively sway the algorithm with one SEO charged hub/site. Do you see that? And she said, yes. What does that mean? She said, I don't know. Question. Why did you send this to Miss Case to be written up into a document if you didn't know what it meant? And Melissa Nathan said, she's stuttering. This was exactly this, which was the social/digital, or the other one with the price for hiring digital. Gottlieb says, okay, but you didn't know what it meant at all? And Melissa Nathan says, like I said, half, some. But that's why I chose to work with external vendors that know about these things that I don't know about.
The other things other than monitoring, you're saying?
Mm-hmm.
The things other than fucking monitoring? So then Jed was doing... I see.
Question. Do you know?
I mean, I can't believe how many holes they have. Every deposition you've read, as soon as you start, I'm blown away.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, they literally said, Jed said all they did was monitoring. She says all she knows is fucking monitoring, and she can only decipher half of what they're fucking offering.
Yeah, well, this is all stuff that Lively and Jones have cited to support their case.
And then she says, I'm doing this because that's why I hire these people, which is true.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to DP a movie. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm a producer. I'm like, cameras, I assume.
Oh God, she's just playing dumb too.
Go ahead.
Next question is, do you know what it means to actively sway the algorithm? And she said, I have an idea. Gottlieb said, well, what's your idea? She said, to change an algorithm, to change something online. And he goes, what does it mean to do that with one SEO charged hub or site? She said, I don't know. He's quoting her and she doesn't know. Like,
so what's the quote?
The quote is, let me scroll back up. Again, the real value is when you can actively sway the algorithm with one SEO charged hub/site.
She knows exactly what she's talking about.
Of course, she drafted it.
Well, she's also using all the terms correctly.
Or maybe she's saying that this came from Wallace, and so that's why, so she didn't draft it. Whatever. It's an email that she had sent to her clients that Katie Case and, her team is working on.
Katie Case is such an interesting name, isn't it? It's not Nosy Jones good, but it's interesting.
Okay. So then there's a big time jump. I mean, a page skip, okay?
Don't forget to like and subscribe. That's all I got to say about that.
If you want to. Only if you want to. Only if you feel it in your heart.
No, just do it. You just do it.
Okay. Next series of questions starts with, how long have you known Jed Wallace? And she says, and she's asking to go to the bathroom. Okay. So I don't know why I have this. Okay. They're back.
Just to go check the notes on her arm.
I know. She's like, I got to call him real quick. How long have I known you?
Fuck. Middle name? What?
How long have you known Jed Wallace? She said, I've known Jed for around between 5 to 6 years. How did you meet Jed Wallace? She says, through a client. Which client?
A cabal where we were like sacrificing babies.
Like you do. Hollywood stuff. You wouldn't understand.
Casting circles and sacrificing babies.
You wouldn't get it.
Was that a drinking blood fest?
Which client? And if you want to go to attorney's eyes only for any of this, you're welcome to. She said, sure, yes, I would like to. So Friedman says, yep, we're going to go attorney's eyes only. And the videographer is saying, if any of the participants in the Zoom room need to be removed due to that, we do not have Mr. Heath present at the time. Okay, so that skips. So I guess the only reason why we have this page is that she's known Jed Wallace for 5 to 6
good.
years.
It establishes, the relationship has been there, so she knows what he does.
Sorry if that was boring.
She's playing. And listen, again, in her defense, I don't really know what DPs and gaffers do. You know what I mean? They call out all these numbers and shit.
It's magic.
And then all of a sudden the light is perfect. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I know a little bit, No,
it's true. The technical part of filmmaking is really, really intimidating.
But when they're starting to throw in like the number 2 scrims and all the other shit, and they're adjusting the stops by quarter stops and all this other shit, and I don't know what the fuck, man. I'm just like, yep, that's the picture.
No, it's almost like
looks like a painting to me.
It's like if filmmaking is a science, then those guys are like the chemists. Like you don't know what the fuck is going on.
That's why we have all these department heads, and so that she has potentially people with whom she works that is outside her area of expertise, is perfectly understandable and perfectly normal in my view. But what I find particularly interesting about it is that she says her expertise is monitoring and then can't decipher the plan given by the guy who's supposed to be doing the monitoring.
Yeah, but he's only supposed to be doing monitoring. So there's a whole half of this document that she doesn't understand.
Which is not monitoring.
Who's going to be taken care of by whom if he's the only one, if he's only doing monitoring. I get what you're saying. I'm picking up what you're putting down.
You see what I'm saying, dude?
Yeah.
Like it doesn't matter. It's like, even if it's not Jed Wallace, who is it? It doesn't matter. The point is that monitoring is not what they were doing.
Yeah.
Because the expert only knew about half of what they were doing, which was the monitoring
She's
stuff.
got to be lying that she doesn't understand any of this. This is her whole career. She has a business.
No, I'm telling you, she's specialties are specialties. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you talk to doctors, doctors run into this all the time. Like, like general practitioners, you'd be like, yeah, blah, 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 blah. I'm not a cardiovascular surgeon. I don't really understand. Doc, would you want to do it?
She's like, listen, what I do is really simple. I attacked victims, women specifically, on the internet.
Hopefully.
If you need that, I can help.
Yeah.
Other than that, I don't know anything.
I spread the hatred of women.
I'm willing to do that. You won't find anyone else in the business willing to do that as eagerly as me.
I didn't know that she's sick, and I'm not even one bit like sad for her. She made herself that way. If you live a life so toxic, it's not surprising your body is in revolt.
Yeah, I mean that's what a lot of Eastern medicine is based on, right?
Oh, I mean,
there might be some truth to it.
They're calling stress probably the biggest factor to shorten to a shortened life.
Mm.
Okay,
should we continue?
Please.
Gottlieb is asking, how about on the redacted matter? We got a redaction.
Oh, but it's the redacted matter. It's like one thing to have a redaction, but to call it the redacted matter?
What did Jed Wallace do in that matter?
Jed Wallace in a redacted matter?
Yes.
Oh my God. I want to get a t-shirt that says redacted matter.
She doesn't know anyway. I know, redacted matter. That's the name of my new band.
Damn straight.
She doesn't know anyway. She says, I'm not too sure. Gottlieb is asking, do you have any idea? She said no. Question, is that by design?
Nothing, bro.
No, wait, listen. Gottlieb is asking, is that by design, Miss Nathan? Because this is page 304. By now he's a little irritated with the fact that she doesn't know anything.
Yeah. That's evasive, for sure.
Yeah. Is that by design, Miss Nathan? And she said, is what by design? Friedman objects to the form.
Yeah.
Gottlieb continues, the fact that you're testifying that you do not know anything about what Jed Wallace does. And Melissa Nathan says, I didn't testify that. I said, I do know what I know what he does in my opinion, which is work in the digital space. I know that he works with people.
He's supposed to be only monitoring. That's her area of expertise. Listen, she is a liar.
I know that he works with people who are in active addiction and also getting them into addiction type facilities. That's what I personally know.
Like working for Jeff Bezos for
Dale,
free.
Is she saying that he's working in the, what is it called? The Florida Shuffle?
That Florida Shuffle, dude. That Bam got into.
Bam Margera was talking about how there's this whole predatory scheme where it's basically that these addiction recovery facilities will perform they'll engage in human trafficking, where they send people in recovery to mandated labor.
Can you believe it?
They'll have them do jobs, and it's mandated that and it'll be like call centers, like telemarketing or
What is
something.
up with
or
slavery
maybe
in America, bro?
maybe working with Jed Wallace's troll farms or whatever. But the thing is that Bam Margera was talking about was that if you do even the slightest bit of like some sort of you break the rules, like he had a cigarette or something. He like smoked a cigarette where he wasn't supposed to, and they were like, okay, you're written up and you get penalized by being sent back into the system where
You got to do it again and pass.
Yeah, and so these are treatment facilities that are court mandated, and so they get government money to run, but then they farm out these people who are stuck in this
they're
recovery.
double dipping. They're getting paid by the government,
yes.
And they're getting paid by the client.
Yeah, and so they get this free labor from all of these people in recovery who are just trying to do their best, but they're stuck in this system. It's horrible.
Exquisite.
So that's so fascinating.
Another round.
Because I was wondering, I was like, okay, so if she wants to work with somebody who can promise her that they're real people that are doing this troll farming and that they're not like bot accounts, because there's a lot of like now they have a way of like determining based on the digital signature who's actually a person and who's a bot.
Yeah.
So it might be that these people who are like in recovery for addiction are being sent, and their job is to like spread hate online, which is a really horrible thing for somebody who's addicted, because then you're just giving them like a phone to argue with all day. Like that's not going to help your addicted brain, learn how to process its chemicals any better.
No.
Being engaged in like hate chat.
It's American slavery. We know what it is. They can't stop it. They just find different ways to do it. But the idea that there's a not only it's not only just people getting free labor, it's people selling free labor. That's the weird and fucking crazy shit. One quick thing with the ex-lady, she said there's a back and forth about some things, and I suppose there's something about the spoliations. We do have those to read. If we get done this today, which I can't imagine we will, we'll read them. But if not, we'll read the spoliation files that hit yesterday, which I started reading. They're pretty juicy. We'll read those either at the end of today or by tomorrow, because they're pretty juicy. Yeah, it's the spoliation stuff. So
that's great.
Anyway,
I know I'm already behind. I mean, we've been doing this every day, and we're behind.
Well, we're reading the docs, bro. I mean,
I'm getting through it. I can do it.
You know what they do in law firms? They have like, okay, you read this one, you read that one, you read this one, and then 4 lawyers come together, having billed the client tens of thousands of dollars, and said, everything, I know everything, let's go, and then they share their facts. You're just, it's just you and me solo. That's why we got any videos out, because I'm the only person editing. Yeah, it's tough, these small mom and pop shops.
Okay, so Gottlieb is asking, the fact that you're testifying that you do not know anything about what Jed Wallace does, okay? Melissa Nathan says, I didn't testify that. I said that I know what he does in my opinion, which is work in the digital space. I know that he works with people who are in active addiction and also getting them into addiction type facilities. That's what I personally know. And
Such a good guy.
Gottlieb is asking, what does work in the digital space mean? And she says, if I knew about digital, I would be the one doing it because you can make really good money doing it.
There we know. You recommended $30,000 a month to your client without even knowing what the fuck they do.
I know.
That's pretty good money.
That's you protecting your client?
That's pretty good money. You don't even know what they do. That could just be a bunch of words as far as you know.
I know.
Just a bunch of fucking words that they go, while they carve the steaks.
Oh, man. So this doesn't look good for her business. Okay, she sounds like a dummy. And she's intending to, I think.
Oh, wow. So Dimebeth says that law firms are using AI now to go over and scan and go over the documents, and her dad's a lawyer.
Yeah, that's really, that happened in this case where they actually...
Did I say Dimebeth? I hope I got that right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Justin Baldoni's lawyers were accused of using AI, and they hallucinated a case. Because the thing about AI is that it will generate information that it thinks you want to fulfill your prompt, but it doesn't necessarily, like, you have to like restrict its parameters to only look at the case law that you have that exists, because otherwise, so what happened was they had to cross-reference on Lively's
I'm sure
side.
it's handy. I mean,
they cited a law they cited a case that never existed on Justin Baldoni's side.
Yeah,
this happened like a couple.
No,
months ago.
I know. It's going to be you if you're not doing the work that AI is spitting out. It's just like any AI. AI is a draft. I'll never use it ever in my life, creatively.
Especially in a
I
law
use
firm.
it non-generatively.
You have to check it so much, you know?
I just don't, I'm not interested in it generating in my work.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. Gottlieb is saying, I certainly understand that there's a distinction between being an expert in the digital space and an expert in searching and optimization, and experts in the various things Mr. Wallace does, and having a general knowledge or understanding of what some of that work
That's supposed
entails.
to be search engine optimization if it said searching.
Searching and optimization. So
Yeah.
you're saying the stenographer made an error?
I think so.
The digital space and an expert in searching and optimization, and experts in the various things Mr. Wallace does, and having a general knowledge or understanding of what what some of that work entails. So is it really your testimony that apart from that he works in the digital space, that you don't know anything more about what that means? And Melissa Nathan said, that's why I hire someone else to do it. I do not work in the digital space. I don't even barely have social media myself.
SEO, by the way, stands for search engine optimization.
Yes,
Yeah.
but I know it's important. And she's continuing.
Kind of like, DNA.
She's continuing. She said, I know it's important. As I testified earlier, it's come to the situation right now that all legal firms, including your own, hire a digital service because we do not understand digital. I'm finding out more every day. People next year, maybe next year, my answer might be different. Sorry, I'm kind of screwing up today.
You're doing
Question.
great.
How do you know that it's not just all fraud or a Ponzi scheme? And she said, I don't know. She doesn't know. She doesn't have any way to know
This is,
whether
by the way,
it's
this is how Donald Trump is like rooking the American people right now. There's a bunch of people filling out fucking RFPs for government services.
Yeah.
And they're getting all these services bought. And it's basically turning the lights off, turning them back on in the morning.
He said,
50,000 a month.
Gottlieb said, you don't know? And Melissa Nathan says, how do I know? Yours, how do I know? I know it's digital space that I do not understand. So Gottlieb says, do you have a view one way or the other about whether Mr. Wallace is good at what he does? And Melissa Nathan says, well, all the clients that I have worked with him on, Well, all the clients that I have worked with him on really like Jed. They really like the rapport they have with Jed and are happy with the work. That's why he's used so often in all the biggest legal firms, including quite a few here in Los Angeles today and probably elsewhere. What? Question. You like him, right? She said, I do like him. He's a nice guy. She said, he is a nice guy. Okay, there's nothing else that you can tell me. My original question on this line was about redacted.
It's so interesting how they get into that. I don't know. That's like a, I wonder if that's like a softening question,
Oh, yeah, I guess.
You like him, like the whole exchange. You like him. Yeah. He's a nice
Do you
guy.
like him?
Yeah.
Okay, well, let me show you this next exhibit that shows
Yeah.
he's a total piece of shit.
Yeah.
And then get you to answer.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is the end of what we have for Melissa Nathan's deposition.
That's
But
what,
I also have Jed Wallace's deposition, so let me see what this is.
do you want to get right to it?
Yeah, sure.
While we're adding Jed Wallace to the deposition, I'll have to change the thumbnail. Damn it.
Let me just make sure. I think I have.
Well, we should do the chat before you move on.
Yeah, okay. Let's do it.
Chat's alive and well.
Dan said, you are arguing with a Mad Hatter, and they will not be dissuaded due to bias. That's kind of how it feels like.
Yeah.
Did you know why the Mad Hatter was called the Mad Hatter?
No.
Because I forget what decade Alice in Wonderland was written.
It's like long time ago.
Yeah, very long time ago. So people who made
It's in the public domain, right?
people who made hats
Yeah.
for a living
Yeah.
dealt with a lot of lead, and they used these paintbrushes, and they would use this glue that was like lead based or had lead in it or something, and they would lick their paintbrushes to use this stuff, and so they were driven mad by lead poisoning, and that's why they were the Mad Hatter.
It's hard to believe. This is why I believe that we have been invaded by an intelligent species, because we're not. Like,
Well, how do you know something's poisonous until you find out the wrong
I just
way?
saw like a cigarette thing on Reddit or whatever, like what the fuck or whatever, and it's an ad with new asbestos filters, It's a cigarette
No way.
with asbestos
Are
filters.
you serious?
Yeah, lung cancer and melanoma all at once. Or no,
yeah,
mesothelioma.
Mesothelioma. Yeah, so the
Mesothelioma?
president just undid his asbestos protections.
Yeah, no, of course we want it back.
So they just straight away put it in filters and then advertised it.
I'm going to do asbestos lines after the show.
They didn't. That's got to be like a parody or something. Nobody would buy that.
The trial scene is worth reading.
What trial scene?
Well, yeah, what trial scene? What are we talking about?
I want to read a worth reading trial scene.
1865, by the way.
1865 was when it was written?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mad Hatters happened in 1865. The Queen of Hearts wants to try Alice without evidence. Oh, the book. Okay, this is great.
Yeah, tomorrow we're doing
I should read that.
Indie Rock, also known as Delicate. She's saying tomorrow start with movie reviews. We are doing movie reviews tomorrow. Tonight we're watching Eddington to finish them off. And of course we've got Miss Americana.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Lots to say. Lots. It's exciting. We have a bunch of docs. And yeah.
This is so great. So Deanne says that there's a parallel. It's funny that we mentioned Alice in Wonderland because the Queen of Hearts puts Alice on trial without evidence.
Is that right?
Yes.
I've never read the book. I should.
I'm going to read that immediately. Deanne says, who spends that much money for nothing?
No, they don't.
This is what I want to know.
And, like very, very early when this thing broke out, I started, doing my, like Alan would come out screaming about how, where's the request for a refund? Like they said they didn't do anything. They said they didn't do anything. They said all they did was monitoring. You're not going to pay $30,000 a month for monitoring. There's no way.
No way.
That's the regular run of the mill stuff. Monitoring. It's run of the mill stuff. It's real easy to tap in. Nonsense. Absolute nonsense. So, they're lying and they're hiding. And we know that because they're trying to push the goalpost all the way to December to protect from spoliation. That means that because they're trying to evade the fact that and avoid the culpability of spoliation up until December, because they were destroying evidence. And the only people who do that are fucking liars.
That is the 3 months that Wayfarer parties were paying $30K a month for these services.
It was also...
So they're saying that we didn't have to preserve anything until after that time.
Yeah, it was also after we now know that Emily Baldoni had said, apparently according to Jamie Heath and to Justin Baldoni, to go to war. Mm-hmm. This was in August. We know in August of 2024 that Claire Ayub was on a phone call with Steve Sarowitz when Steve Sarowitz said that he was ready to kill people, to unalive people all dead to him and dead to lots of other people, metaphorically dead, of course. He was never going to threaten actual murder on somebody. This is in August, bro. August. Mm-hmm. And they're trying to pretend that they didn't have a duty to preserve information. They had lawyered up. Brian Friedman already got brought into the conversation by August, at least by name. Come on, man. Liars cheat. Liars hide. Liars delete. They delete shit. They hide shit. In bathrooms.
Those are the lyrics to your punk song.
Yo, Flea.
Liars hide, liars cheat, liars delete.
Couple quick music announcements. Flea has got a jazz record coming out, and I just listened to the single today, and I really loved it. The fucking bass is dope as fuck. It's kind of like Henry Rollins-esque at the end of it, and it's dope. Mm-hmm. Really good shit. And so I'm really excited for him. He's freaky as ever, too, so he hasn't lost any of his freak, which I'm excited for, because it's just like really the core of the artist, in my opinion. He's a deep dude, and I'm excited for it. So you should check it out if you haven't. It's called Plea. A Plea. It's called A Plea by Flea. It's fucking great. And also, A Legend is going back on tour. And so if you, and I couldn't recommend seeing him more. And I was reluctant to. People were trying to drag me in, and I was like, I don't want to go see this fucking guy. Who? And then I went and saw him, and I was really fucking excited about it because I was really glad that I did, because I really thought the band was great, and I had a great, jolly good time.
Who?
Weird Al Yankovic is going on tour. And this fucking guy is just like, you'll go and get an hour and a half of happy.
No, I know. It's really, I saw
It's fucking
somebody,
great.
I
It's
saw
a great
somebody
show.
showed a clip from the concert, they were in the crowd.
Yeah.
And he did a cover, like a straight up non-parody cover
Yes.
of Killing in the Name of by Rage Against the
And
Machine.
probably fucking rocked it,
Yeah,
right?
he fucking
The
killed
band is tight. Yeah. It's a really quite tight band. It's a fairly intimate gig, which is always more fun.
Mm-hmm.
Like for me it is. I love going into these like small venues. And he's a fucking absolute legend. Like he is an absolute for real legend. And you really grasp that. He's the Bob Ross of the 80s in music.
It's got to be the best crowd to see a concert with, too.
Seriously, I had such a great time. I felt great. The vibe was so awesome. I actually kind of went reluctantly, like I was saying. And then I walked out like infused by the man. It was just a good time. And I understand why people are such great fans of him. So if Weird Al Yankovic comes to your town, grab a ticket, man. You'll have a great time. And check out A Plea by Flea. It's really fucking cool. All right. By the way, both of them are paying us enormous amounts of money to tell you these things.
Enormous amounts.
Well, maybe when we get to 1,000 followers.
But we don't really understand what we're supposed to be doing. Just like Melissa Nathan. The Junk Farm said $30,000 a month to monitor is the definition of a scam, especially with no team.
It's not a scam. It's a war package.
And Hanada said, but then they had a voice note from Jed himself that shows him explaining his work, and it is a lot more than monitoring.
Of course it is, and we know that she only knows Melissa Nathan, who is an expert in monitoring by her own lips, didn't know half of what was on the table and can't explain what Jed did, but Jed apparently was supposed to be doing monitoring. How can you be an expert and then not know? The digital space, go fuck yourself. It's got the same principles, which is monitoring. And don't tell me that Melissa Nathan's sitting there flipping through magazines. Let's see here. Oh.
Titillating.
Oh, that's titillating for certain. Oh, let's see what's next here. Oh my God.
Scandalous. You're smelling the little perfume strip? She wouldn't be flipping through those magazines. Those are like the expensive ones.
Some people just smell the ink. I knew somebody who was just like,
of a magazine?
Like, what are you doing? They're like huffing a magazine.
I do that with old books.
I do that with some
I'm
things
like,
too.
So dusty.
Achoo.
Achoo.
It's $30,000 because they had a war plan. It's $30,000 because there was a package that they bought. I have the most gruesome story ever, but I can't tell it. I gotta wait for the right crowd for this story.
What?
It's a Denmark story. Red light district. I was not involved.
Okay, but you're basically telling the story. Because what else could it be?
It's just every time we talk about what they bought, I always think about like the menu. And every time I think about the menu, I remember RD and I were in Denmark. We were in Copenhagen, and Copenhagen is the sex capital of the world. It brags itself as being the sex capital of the world. It has like a sex museum, which was totally wild, by the way, like a wax museum and stuff. It was totally a wild thing to see. Actually, I really did enjoy it, even though, it was like definitely out of the norm. Anyway, RD one night was like, let's go walk around the fucking red light district and just see what it's like. And I was like, okay, sure, whatever. So we did. And we walked into a couple of places, just walked in. It was very fucking weird. Believe me, I did not partake in anything. We walked in. In one case, they just brought out women and they put them in a line in front of us. And I was just like, oh, this is very awkward. I need to leave.
They just lined up?
They just lined up in a straight line, scantily clad. And I suppose you're just supposed to go, oh, no, yes. Like, yeah. So that was weird. But the weirdest one was we walked in and there was this guy who was like in all this leather. And he was behind a counter in the same way that you would be like behind a counter at like, I don't know, maybe like a manicure like place, like a nails place or something. Okay. And behind him was this board. And it was a menu board, like you would get at a barista shop, like at a coffee shop, right? And it was a barista shop is hilarious. Yeah, would you like a barista?
Well, no, like a coffee shop where somebody's going to handcraft your coffee.
Yeah, like your hand and the handwritten kind of thing.
Yeah, right.
And so there's this big menu, like this handwritten menu. I am not going to tell you what was on this menu. It is like the most kinkiest, wildest shit ever.
You're saying you clutched your pearls.
Oh my God. I gasped. Well, then he goes like, it was some kind of regurgitation that I can't, but it sounded to me like, something like that.
Danish.
And then out came this woman and she was like all in this BDMS, like she had a ball in her mouth and just wild.
Just hanging out like that?
And he grabbed her chains and pulled her to him. And I'm just standing there going, we just walked in and we were like, oh, and he's like, oh, and he points up to the menu because he knows, I don't think he spoke English or broken English at best. And so I don't know why I go through this, but ever since then, and we were talking, we're talking 25 years ago, ever since, or a little more than actually 26 years ago. But ever since then, I've just have this, like, I was traumatized by it, I think, but not in a terrible way because it's amusing.
You have to tell me why you started to think about this.
Because I was thinking about how they got a menu from, and it was a menu filled with
this is true.
horrible shit.
Jamie Heath Jamie Heath sends a message. He claims in his deposition that he didn't know anything and he doesn't even read emails or whatever.
Yeah.
He's like, whatever, I pay for stuff. I don't know what it is.
$30,000 is a package.
No, but there's an email from Jamie Heath to Melissa Nathan about Jed Wallace's like package saying asking for clarification about whether some of the stuff that he wants that Jed Wallace offers is in addition to the $30,000 or whether it's included in the $30,000. So
and nobody spends like
he's definitely looking over it.
Like, so when you want to talk about the health of Wayfair, according to Steve Sarowitz, it had been bleeding money from him. Bleeding money. So they're not going to throw $30,000 a month at anything just as nonchalant. It's just not going to happen. That's a major item. That's like a high level executive pay, right? Like you're going to get like VP level executive for $300,000 a year or more.
Right.
So you're spending, that's like high end. You get clarification on that money.
Yes, of course
you
do.
Don't sit there and hear a bunch of shit you don't understand. When you don't understand when you're spending $30,000, you ask questions. Now, maybe the answers you get are just as much a con job as the whole thing in the first place. I'm not here to judge. I am saying that nobody just went to sleep on his price. They all fucking actively ask questions about it. And I think she is obviously being evasive, even if she can confidently step away from the space because she sells this stuff.
But I do think that they got really easy clients in Jamie Heath and Justin Baldoni and Steve Sarowitz, who is like just checked out completely. But I don't think that they asked much. I don't think that they cared about the detail. They were like, okay, that's the price. It's expensive. We'll pay it. Because they're money bags.
I don't agree with you. I think that
Jamie Heath wants clarification.
I think for Sarowitz, maybe, but
he didn't send a bunch of emails. It was just a couple that we have in the deposition.
I think Heath is going to dig deep. I think Baldoni might rely on other people, but someone's going to be held accountable. I have a hard time believing they don't know. They didn't know what the fuck they were talking about. That's so interesting that Junk Farm's saying the use of Signal is spoliation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Also,
yes, because there's a deliberate reason that you use it.
Junk Farm also earlier said the law establishes spoliation when you reasonably think that there might be litigation and you destroy your communications.
Well, you see, now this is where I wonder whether or not you're right about it's spoliation just by using the app. But I see where you're coming from because obviously the intent is to hide the conversation from any prying eyes. The strange thing about that is spoliation, man. It's difficult. It's difficult. It doesn't come easy.
Yeah, the Junk Farm said, she literally threatened to sue their ass and preserved all rights. It wasn't a threat, but the lawyer letter from Lively's lawyers to the Wayfair parties.
Oh, make no mistake, that's a threat.
Yeah, but she was like, we there's the 17 points, but we preserve. She's reserving her rights to
all of her
pursue
remedies.
this legally.
She reserves all remedies, and that is a threat.
Yeah.
As soon as somebody says that to me, I'm threatened. If somebody sends me a fucking letter and I know that there's a dispute either brewing or that has happened between me and that individual, and I get a letter saying that they're going to that they're reserving their remedies, I know I'm getting sued. I know it. It's lawyer up time or lay down on the tracks, but it's happening.
Lay down on the tracks. That's so old timey. Okay, shall we learn what Jed Wallace has to say?
You don't think my beard is old timey?
I do think your beard is old timey. It's one of the reasons why I like it so much.
Do you think the controversy helped the box office numbers? That could justify the $30K from a business perspective. Well, then they would say so. Then they would be like, well, we knew that at the very least it would boost the numbers. Yes, the answer is yes. I think the controversy helped the box office.
We only saw the movie because we were interested in this case.
Yeah, and we bought the movie. So yes, the answer is yes, 100%.
We rented it. It's a little bit different.
We rented the movie. By that, I mean we exchanged money. We didn't get it on a stream.
Okay, shall I?
You shall.
The deposition of Jed Wallace.
This is the deposition of Jed Wallace.
They're asking, I think, about his communications. How about on text messages? He said, could you be more specific? The question is, any form of electronic communication, let's broaden it up. Answer, Jed Wallace says, and the question, did I have any communication with her about any types of services? And the lawyer's clarifying that you might provide to Wayfarer Studios. Jed Wallace says, yeah, we discussed monitoring. The lawyer says, okay, on what platform did you have that conversation with Miss
Melissa Nathan is an expert in monitoring by her own words and admission under oath.
Yeah.
And she did not know and does not know what he does.
Yeah, right. She hired outside experts to do something more than monitoring.
I play guitar, but if somebody's sitting around on any other instrument and tells me what they're playing, if they tell me, hey, I'm in the key of C, blah, 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 I know, generally speaking, what they're doing. I have no idea how to do it, but I know generally what they're doing. And I would be able to explain that under oath.
Yeah, I think they're just being evasive.
She's fucking lying, and he's not doing any monitoring, or at least that's not all he's doing.
Okay, on what platform did you have that conversation with Miss Nathan? Jed Wallace says, he's stuttering. I wouldn't know because I don't know the client or the details yet. Because I didn't know the client or the details yet. Question. Maybe my question was unclear. I wasn't talking about what platform for monitoring. I was talking about the platform that you used to communicate with Miss Nathan about that. Was it Signal? Jed Wallace says, we've communicated through Signal and phone calls. Question. By August 8th, 2024, had you communicated with Melissa Nathan on Signal? And he's asking for clarification related to this, and the lawyer says, on anything. He said, oh, yes. Or, oh, yes. Sorry. I'm trying to act it the way that it's the punctuation. Okay, question. Okay, did you also communicate with Miss Nathan on the do you have an Apple iPhone? He said, I do. Okay, did you also communicate with Miss Nathan as of August 8th, 2024 on the Apple messaging app, the iMessaging app? He's asking, ever before? And the lawyer clarifies, yes. And Jed Wallace says, I believe so. Would you say as between those two message applications, as of August 8th, 2024, with respect to your communications with Melissa and Nathan, you used one of those applications more than the other? Jed Wallace said, I would say yes, Signal. You use Signal more? Yes. When do you recall a point in time when you started to use Signal more than regular text messaging with Melissa Nathan? He said, no. Okay, at some point in time you did, though. And Jed Wallace says, no, I need more specific question. Okay. Do you see, back to the email, Miss Nathan says, and he's reading, he is aware we're going for, and then it gets cut off.
Damn it.
He's aware we're going for.
Into the chat, just a quick sec, is
Yes.
that Austin, who is here, and I say hello to you, Austin. They are talking about, she brought up a preservation letter, and I don't think a preservation letter is a smart thing for an attorney to write on behalf of another client.
Yes.
But it's not a necessary thing.
That's what it was.
If there's no preservation letter, but you know, or you're acting as if there's going to be a lawsuit or potential lawsuit, then you should know then. Then there's an understanding that you shouldn't be spoiling evidence. When Steve Sarahwood says in August that they lawyered up, when Melissa Nathan said you should get with Brian Friedman, and the truth is that when Brian Friedman came on board, the message should have been to maintain all the evidence. And once again, I'm just going to say, why wouldn't you want to? If you're the truth sayer, you're the guy who's you're the guy being wrongfully accused and all this other shit, and they've made every claim possible in terms of all the good intentions that they've had.
That's what an innocent person would do.
Why are you fucking hiding anything then? What are you hiding from? Why are you even going there? Because you're going to do something wrong. Because you're doing things that you don't want to be discovered. And that is spoliation. And you're doing it relative specifically to the case. It's not like we're talking about, hey, move over to Signal. I want to tell you what I did last night. They're moving over to Signal to talk about the case. And the case they know is litigious.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, they should have been preserving that record. And they didn't because they're cheats and liars.
Yeah, and look at the trouble it's getting them into.
Now, does that mean that there's going to be a judgment for spoliation? I mean, we'll see.
Okay. Continuing? Yes?
Yeah, please.
This picks up in the middle of a conversation, okay? This is on page 132 of Jed Wallace's deposition. He says, the lawyer is asking, well, you say in the email, and he's reading, this is a quote, "This was forwarded without attachments." And Jed Wallace says, I do say that, but I don't recall. Okay. And you say, and the lawyer's reading, this is a quote, "This is exactly the kind of content, in theory, until I read them, that our team can elevate." And Jed Wallace says, I do say that. The lawyer's asking, so you seem to be saying, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you seem to be saying that whatever this attachment or article was, you hadn't read it yet? And Jed Wallace says, I can't speak to that. I'm not sure. The lawyer says, you don't remember if that's what you're saying here? And he said, I don't remember, no. Question. Well, nonetheless, whether you had read the article or not, you say, reading, and this is a quote, "This is exactly the kind of content that our team can elevate across all algorithmically driven platforms, correct?" And he says, yes. Was your team capable of elevating content across algorithmically driven platforms? And Jed Wallace says, I don't have a team.
Who's we? Who's we? Did he not just say we?
Yes.
In the text, does it not say this is what we? Did he say we? Has he got
This
words?
is a quote. This is exactly the kind of content that our team can elevate across all algorithmically driven platforms.
Him and the worms in his stomach.
I don't have a team, he says.
His considerably
the lawyer's
many
asking,
personalities.
The lawyer's asking, is street relations capable of elevating content across all algorithmically driven platforms? And Jed Wallace says, absolutely not. So you were being untruthful to Redacted when you said that, in quotes, our team can elevate across all algorithmically driven platforms? And the witness says, yeah, not at all. So Gottlieb's the attorney.
I'm just absolutely spun.
I know.
Okay, all right.
You were not at all being untruthful? He said, no.
No, perfectly honest.
He's like, okay. So street relations can't do that, right? And Jed Wallace says, correct. Gottlieb says, okay. So who was your team capable of elevating across all algorithmically driven platforms? And Jed Wallace says, if I'm referencing Tag, it would be whomever works for Tag to post stories. Okay, question. And you're saying...
To post stories?
Yes.
Is that monitoring?
No.
Oh.
But I guess whoever works for Tag to post stories.
Yeah, sure, but he's doing the fucking work. They're just doing... Oh, he pressed the button?
I guess that he is saying...
If you hire a killer, you're a killer.
It's very circular. He's like, I do the work, but I don't understand the work. And so Tag does this work that I'm claiming that I would do. And then, Melissa Nathan says the opposite.
Good luck with that.
Okay, question. And you're saying you have no memory at all of what team you were referencing here? And Jed Wallace says,
he said
no.
Our team, right?
Yes.
So it's at least it's his team in the heart.
Yeah. See, what you don't understand is he is just a writhing, a mob of bacteria. Okay. So when he says we, it's like the collective we, as in like.
Sometimes when I close my eyes, I can see them swimming. Especially if I look up to the light, I'm like, oh, there they are.
Yeah. He's like, he's like, I am Legion, basically.
Who is that? It's my team. It's my team.
You're the little floaties in your eye? That's absurd. Okay, cool. Gottlieb is like, oh my God, this is a rough day at work.
For sure.
Gottlieb
first of all, it's definitely, he's difficult.
Yeah, he's
like, this is really problematic. Let's see how he does with it.
Okay, so who is your team capable of elevating across all algorithmically driven platforms? And Jed Wallace says, if I'm referencing Tag, it would be whomever works for Tag to post stories. Gottlieb says, and you're saying you have no memory at all of what team you were referring to here? And Jed Wallace says, no, I think I said I'm referencing Tag as the team. Okay, so you think that Tag is capable of elevating content across all algorithmically driven platforms? And Jed Wallace says, 100%. Okay, and who at Tag can do that? And Jed Wallace says, to be specific, when you post a story or find a place for a story, you are elevating it across algorithmically driven platforms. Question. And so who at Tag was capable of posting or sharing stories, creating content? And
Scoots.
Jed Wallace says, I don't know specifically. That's their job to create stories.
Don't nobody know nothing.
To create stories.
All the chiefs have no fucking answers.
Question. Tag's job is to create stories? And Jed Wallace said, yes. Or let me be specific with that. Is to help their clients get things posted as news stories, which would 100% elevate it across all algorithmically driven platforms.
Sources close to the...
Yeah. Okay. Question. And so you believe that when you were writing, and he's reading, this is a quote, so I can share with the teams and get it into the system. What you're talking about is sharing the content with Tag. You know, there's no quotes in this transcript, so I'm struggling with which is the quote. So when you're reading, and so this is a quote, so I can share with the teams and get it into the system. And I think the lawyer is continuing to ask, what you're talking about is sharing that content with Tag? And Jed Wallace says, I do. Question, and you believe the system is a reference to something that Tag has? And Jed Wallace says, it's the system of posting or at least getting content covered for their clients. Okay, and you recall the previous exhibit we looked at was on the 19th at 7:29 p.m. And you said, and he's reading, got that one in the system / on it. And Jed Wallace affirms he sees that. So does it look like you followed through on what you said you would do here on Exhibit 10? And Jed Wallace is like, I don't recall what that is. He's like, I'm like a goldfish. I don't know I can't remember what you just talked about. Okay. I don't recall what that is. Gottlieb says, was this further help for Redacted? And Jed Wallace says, no, I didn't. Again, not engaged by Redacted. Question. Well, sir, that was not my question. My question was this further help for Redacted that you provided? And the witness says, I can't answer that. I don't know. Gottlieb is asking, why? Why can't you answer that? A bunch of attorneys are objecting. Jed Wallace says, I don't know if it helped him. Question. Did you believe you were providing him with help? He says, no. It's a very simple question. No. And Jed Wallace says, I believe that I was helping to share information. And Gottlieb said, is that not providing help? And Jed Wallace says, it is. Maddening.
He's difficult because what he's trying to say is, I do this. Help is not what I do. Help is what you perceive it as because it does help you. I don't give a fuck about helping you. You pay me, I do this.
Yeah. Is that not providing help? And he's like, it is.
It is, but that's not my intention.
Gottlieb says, okay, so if I want to ask you about whether you were formally engaged by someone from this point forward, I will be sure to ask formally engaged and specify my question. But can we agree that if I ask you if you have helped someone, we're using the broad definition of help in any respect?
This is why they're so problematic. He's just got to be so annoyed. He's like,
and his attorney is advising him, you don't need to make an agreement about that. Gottlieb moves on. Okay.
Yeah.
This is Exhibit 11, sir, is a document, this catalog number. This is a text chain.
You also can, by the way, like his lawyer said, his lawyer could have said, and you can also agree to not try to play games with the other side.
So we don't get to see this one, but the next exhibit that he's showing Jed Wallace is a text chain. The date ranges from November 11th through November 14th, 2024. That is before this November 20th date that Melissa Nathan is talking about, okay? And he said it appears to be between Jed Wallace, Miss Nathan, Miss Coslow, Redacted, and somebody else. And we don't get to see what it is. Okay. Next section is this. Shall I continue?
Yes.
Okay, Gottlieb says, hi, Mr. Wallace, back on the record. Hope you had a good lunch. We were talking before about a period of time in October through November of 2024. We were looking at a bunch of messages. I think I asked you before about sort of like the record keeping that you have or that Street has for your work. If we wanted to recreate one of your days in that period of time after the fact, say, mid-October, end of October 2024, would you have anything in terms of records other than, your text messages, emails, and phone records? And Jed Wallace says, would I have anything other as records? Is that what you're asking? I'm sorry. And the lawyer continues, any information that you would have stored somewhere that would help us to recreate one of your days going back in time, other than your what you have preserved in the form of text messages, whether Signal or Apple, emails, and phone records that show outgoing and incoming calls. And he said, no. Not that I'm aware of. Okay, do you keep a calendar? He said, yeah, there's a calendar of events. Do you have a calendar personally? He said, yeah, I mean, everyone has one on iPhone. Okay, do you ever put work calls or work meetings into your calendar in your iPhone? He said, yes. Okay, and if you get invited to a Zoom or a Microsoft Teams meeting or something like that, that from time to time shows up in your calendar on your iPhone, and Jed Wallace says, yeah, if someone sent me a link to that, it just populates sometimes. You accept or deny. And Gottlieb says, this gets cut off, but his next question is, all right, so sometimes you'll have, depending on whether somebody sent you the invite or your email or otherwise sent you an invite that populates into your calendar, and he won't answer. He says, I need to know more details. Okay. Sorry, that was kind of dull, but I don't know what these are, okay? That was cited by one of the parties in, their motion against summary judgment. So I guess that supports Lively's case somehow. Okay.
Okay.
Should I continue?
Yeah, I'm just watching the chat because they're things were getting a little tense between supporters of Baldoni and supporters of Blake. And
a tale as old as time.
But they seem to be becoming more civil about it. I definitely want us all to be very civil if possible. Not suggesting anyone is being uncivilized.
Like, we're talking about celebrities here. Like, these people are going to be fine.
Yeah,
they're all wealthy. We don't have to be emotionally involved in whether they're going to prevail in a civil litigation.
And it's important to be open to what you're listening to, because facts matter, and we're getting a lot of them. True. We are getting a lot of facts here.
We're getting a lot of denials too. I don't know how they can pretend like they don't know anything. I think it seems pretty transparent that they're just saying that for the deposition. Okay. Can I continue? Should I?
Yeah, please do.
Gottlieb is asking, is it possible that before Miss Nathan sent this statement of work at 8:57 a.m. that you and she discussed this statement of work? And he said, I don't recall. My question is just, is it possible? So that's a yes or no question. And he said, and Jed Wallace said, yeah, I don't think so.
Well, how many pages do you have on this?
I have, how many left?
Yeah.
Like 15.
So we should get through it? We can finish this, right?
Yeah, I think so, right?
It's 10 of now.
Yeah.
Of 8.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to watch Eddington, which is 2.5 hours.
Yeah, okay.
Rip it.
Gottlieb is saying, you don't think so, but do you know for certain that you and Melissa Nathan did not discuss the statement of work before she sent it at 8:57 a.m.? He's saying, we did not discuss the statement of work before she sent that. Gottlieb is saying, you're certain of that as you sit here today? He's got evidence of it. You're certain of that as you sit here today? And he said, as I recall. Okay, that's a different answer. So saying to the best of my recollection, I don't recall discussing this is one answer. Saying that you're certain is another answer. So I'm just trying to discern the difference to understand your testimony. And Jed Wallace says, we didn't have a discussion about the scope of work. Okay, and you're sure about that? And Jed Wallace says, I am sure about that. Gottlieb says, all right, did you discuss it with her after she sent it? He said, I don't recall. Gottlieb said, okay, so you might
why would he be sure about one and not sure about the other? Is very strange.
I know.
If he's so damn sure that he didn't, then you'd think he'd remember when he did.
He's saying, so you might have discussed it with her after, but you're sure you didn't discuss it with her before? He said, yeah, I don't recall. Do you see the next bullet down?
How does anybody work with this person?
I don't know. I don't think anybody should. That's for one thing, because you'll get dragged into a lawsuit if you hire these people, evidently. These people are not going to protect you.
Like amazing gaslighter. I mean, this is fucking crazy.
I know. Can you imagine being in a relationship with these people? Ugh. Jesus Christ. Okay, so do you see the next bullet down? He's reading, use our team of specialists to build all the digital Reddit, Site, X, 4chan, Discord, etc. messaging to trend and dominate in clients' favor. And Jed Wallace says, I do. Question. Are you aware of any team of specialists that exist that can do that? And Jed Wallace says, I'm not.
Can you say that again? I'm sorry. I got distracted by chat.
He's reading this document where it's describing his work. Okay?
Yes.
He says that Melissa Nathan sent it and they hadn't discussed it first, which is preposterous.
Preposterous. The $30,000 a month
So the
document.
quote is, use our team of specialists to build all the digital Reddit, Site, X, 4chan, Discord, etc. messaging to trend and dominate in clients' favor.
Okay.
Are you aware of any team of specialists that exist that can do that? And he says, I'm not. Question, is Melissa Nathan a technically sophisticated person? And Jed Wallace says, yeah, I'd need a more specific question. The lawyer goes, do you think Melissa Nathan understands, for example, the concept of something being algorithmically weaponized? He said, I don't know. Do you think she understands how to influence content on 4chan? Jed Wallace says, I don't know.
None of this would get anywhere anyway. It's all
Would it
speculative.
surprise you to learn in her testimony, under oath in this case, she testified that she doesn't even have social media? And he stutters. Jed Wallace says, I don't have no idea if that would surprise me or not. I love it when the stenographers write all the stutters.
It's probably like a lesson in dialogue, huh?
He said, I don't have no idea if that would surprise me or not. It would be news. Gottlieb is asking, okay, but your testimony is that you
I don't think Melissa Nathan said that, by the way. I think she said she barely has.
She doesn't even have social media.
Or I don't think she
We just read it.
I don't think she said that definitively. I think she said she barely has it. To me, I remember it being more like,
roll back the tape. Okay, but your testimony is that you don't know anyone who could build all of the digital messaging from these platforms to trend and dominate in the client's favor. Is that right? And Jed Wallace says, correct. Gottlieb says, and you can't do that personally? And he said, I cannot. Okay, so assuming that Melissa Nathan is also not capable of doing this personally, given your testimony that you can't do it personally, and you don't know anybody who can do this personally, is this a truthful representation of the statement of work that you, Tag, and Brian Friedman could provide? Objections from all of the attorneys.
of course, yeah, the whole table went blah, 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 blah.
And Jed Wallace answers, I have no idea what some of these things are. Gottlieb says, so
This is, by the way, this should be like how to milk a billionaire.
yeah, you guys got grifted.
Dude.
And you ruined your reputation and your business in the process. Congrats.
Because Jennifer Abel was so fucking
Because she found a paranoid, eager to fight Mark.
greed. It's the destruction of this country. It's the destruction of our relationships, of our art, of our homes, of our neighborhoods. It's all greed. You go downtown Athens, used to be filled with mom and pop shops and restaurants and just people carving out a life and
Just
living
in the few
and
years
building
we've
a
been here.
culture.
Yeah.
And it's just covered in Whataburger and fucking Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
It's fucking garbage.
You want to...
Fucking oligarchs
Are you with
suck
us?
dick. Sorry, I'm getting mad.
Okay, Gottlieb continues. Okay, so he's trying to figure out, what the fuck do you know, Jed Wallace? Okay.
Want to see my dragon? It's
Dale.
not mine, it's Angela's.
It's one of my dragons.
Love that dragon.
Okay, so no, this would not... Okay, Gottlieb is asking. So no, this would not be a truthful and accurate representation of a service that collectively you, Miss Nathan, and Brian Friedman could provide? And Jed Wallace says, not from my perspective. Gottlieb says, why do you think Melissa Nathan repeatedly sends out statements of work that represent digital services that you cannot provide? And he says, he's asking for a repeat of the question. So Gottlieb says, why do you think Melissa Nathan repeatedly sends out statements of work to clients referencing digital services that you are not capable of providing? And he says, Jed Wallace says, I have no idea.
Because she's stealing. Because she's a crook and a liar and a thief. And
Gottlieb
this guy
says-
just fucking outed her.
I know.
Holy shit.
I know.
I mean, this is straight up like they stole.
Yeah.
So now, not only did
It's fraud.
I mean, this is fucking nuts.
I know it. Listen. So Gottlieb says, does that concern you? And Jed Wallace says, I don't know enough about it that it concerns me. And sorry, they're interrupting him, so I'm trying to put it together. Gottlieb says, as you sit here today, we've now looked at a few of these, right? Okay, I'm just asking you, as a businessman who runs his own business, who has a representation, who has a representation, does it bother you at all that you are being held out to provide services that you are sitting here telling me under oath, not only can you not provide them, you don't even know what they are? Does that bother you? And Jed Wallace says, I don't know what she's talking about.
Holy fuck.
Gottlieb says, if she's talking about...
She doesn't know what she's talking about.
I know.
So she's just stealing money.
It's just a word scramble.
It's just she's adding value that doesn't exist.
But this is what they're calling as a defense.
It's fraud.
This is what they're saying as a defense. That they didn't do anything wrong. That Miss Lively is wrong. That any of these things were done. And that she wasn't smeared. These people are claiming to do a fraud on their clients.
to avoid
culpability for the work
revealing what they actually did.
Yes.
So they're protecting their IP.
Yeah, I guess.
Wow, this is fucking mad.
Gottlieb continues. Okay.
Hang on, let's just check in with Junk Farm, because he's got something to say here. If you do not know what Baldoni's Exhibit A is, that is the entire dismissed lawsuit that left the record of this case.
Mm-hmm.
I can't help you. Oh yeah, well, by the way, if you haven't read that, it's a fucking page turner. Let me tell you.
Yeah, when you read that, you should really take special care to look at all of the pieces of evidence and decide for yourself whether the evidence is supporting the narrative.
No, we're talking about if it's the exhibit is...
Exhibit A is the timeline, isn't it?
It's dismissed lawsuit. So we're talking about...
Yes, in the dismissed lawsuit.
Lyman's decision.
Oh.
That was fucking juicy.
Yeah, the decision is really juicy.
I have some favorite parts.
But Justin Baldoni's dismissed lawsuit has a bunch of evidence that completely contradicts the narrative describing that evidence. It's astonishing.
Okay, keep going.
We should edit the little expose I did. I was like 10 times that Baldoni debunked Baldoni.
I think we should redo it in smaller chunks so we can have back and forth. We're gonna fill the time too.
Okay, maybe. All right, listen.
I'll go look at those episodes.
Gottlieb is still trying to figure this guy out, okay?
Let's do it.
Gottlieb is saying, okay, if she's talking about you, this is Melissa Nathan, okay? If Melissa Nathan is talking about you, if her testimony is in providing description of digital services, she was talking about you and street relations, then would it bother you? And Jed Wallace says, I don't have enough details there. Gottlieb says, would you want me to keep working with someone who's making misrepresentations? I'm sorry. I don't know why I'm misreading that. Would you want to keep working with somebody who's making misrepresentations to clients about what you can do? And then it cuts off.
Yeah, well, probably because his lawyers were like, don't even answer that.
Yeah, right. That's a bad question.
They're like, I'm going to instruct my client not to answer that.
Okay. This next section, which is...
This is a grift. It's a straight grift.
I know.
It's Justin Baldoni. They saw this weak, pathetic, whiny, cryy dude who they didn't like.
No.
By their own text, they didn't like this guy. They didn't believe him either. They believed Blake Lively, including the fucking slow dance video.
Including Baldoni. We heard yesterday that he believes she was truthful and sincere in her complaints.
Yep.
Okay, this next part. Gottlieb is saying, this is Exhibit 18. He gives him a chance to read over it. Exhibit 18 is an email exchange with an attachment that involves you, a number of people from Tag, and someone from Redacted. Is that right? He said yes. Is Redacted a client that you did any work for around this time? And Jed Wallace says, they were a client of Tag's. Okay, a client of Tag's. Did you or Street do any work for them in connection with Tag services? And Jed Wallace says, I had a few consulting calls with them. Okay, and this is August 3rd, 2024. Is that around the same time that you began working for, performing the work that you did on behalf of Wayfarer Studios? And he said, no, it was later for Wayfarer. A few days later? And Jed Wallace clarifies, August 9th. This was around the time that you began talking to Miss Nathan about Mr. Baldoni and Wayfarer, is that right? And Jed Wallace doesn't recall. Okay, at most then, I think what you're saying is it was 6 days apart from when you were engaged? And Jed Wallace says, according to this date, yes. Okay, and there is a scope of work for Redacted that is attached to the end of this email chain. Is that right? He said yes. And redacted. Am I right that redacted? We don't even get to see this. Okay. Question. Okay, and at 8:29 p.m. on Friday, August 2nd, you reply to the introduction that Redacted has sent. Is that right? He said yes. Question. I'm sorry for the circumstances, but happy to connect and help build a solution. Do you see that? He said, I do. And you say, reading, this is a quote, I see the date of the article and have my forensic team building a quick report on the sentiment and how it engages so we can discuss all the paths to solve. Do you see that? And he said, I do. Who is your forensic team that you're referring to? And Jed Wallace says, I don't have one. Who were you referring to when you wrote my forensic team? Jed Wallace says, I don't recall. Do you think that you had someone out there that was building a quick report on the sentiment? And he said, no, not at this point.
He's lying.
Question. Do you think you asked
It's because
anyone?
you speak of your ICs like they're your team, I guess, you know, like, my team of editors, you know.
I don't know what he's doing. Do you think you asked anyone, whether human, AI, or otherwise, to build a sentiment report at this point in time? And Jed Wallace says, I did not. So this was a misrepresentation that you made to Redacted? Jed Wallace says, it was forward thinking before I looked into the case.
Wow. It's lying,
Yeah.
dude.
Question.
You're lying.
I'm not sure. The lawyer says, Gottlieb says, I'm not sure I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
And he says, I hadn't had a chance to review. I was going to review myself first. Question. Okay. So you didn't yet have anyone building a quick report, but what you're telling me, I think, is that your intention was to prepare some kind of a sentiment report. And Jed Wallace says, I don't know enough details. I don't recall. Gottlieb says, okay, but you certainly recall that it was not correct that you had a forensic team at that time building a quick report on the sentiment. Jed Wallace says, correct. Then you ask if you can connect on Monday, right? And he said, yes. Then you say, reading, this is a quote, I'd like to introduce you to my crisis comms specialist that focuses on diversity and culture, Melissa Nathan. Do you see that? He said, I do. Does Melissa Nathan focus on diversity and culture? He said, Jed Wallace says, among other things, she's very good with that. Question. Does she focus on diversity and culture more than she focuses on entertainment? And Jed Wallace says, I don't know that those are different. The lawyer is asking, are they the same in your view? And he said, could be. Okay, you say, reading, and this is a quote, Melissa and or her team can connect with you today so we can get their perspective. Let me know if you're open to that. I can get their feedback team, my forensic team's results, and then we can connect on Monday. Do you see that? And he said, I do. But you had no intention of getting your forensics team results by Monday. Is that what I understand you to be saying? And he said, I need more details.
Well, you don't have a forensics team. You don't even know how to get one.
Yeah, this is good, though. Gottlieb says, why do you need more details than what you wrote? He says, I don't recall exactly. Well, the lawyer goes, well, I mean, how often do you tell people that you have some team working on something when it's not true? And Jed Wallace says, it's puffery.
Puffery. It's lying. Oh my God, he's a liar. He's just a liar.
I know.
Listen, man, this is why I left corporate America behind. Because they lie and lie and lie. They tell their people to lie. And then when you say, hey, but I don't know if this is truth, they're like, it's fine. Just tell the client. And then you go and you fucking lie. And this is and they rename it. Mm-hmm. These little dessert-like names, like little puffery. I have a little puffery with my tea.
It makes you think you can't hire anybody to actually do this stuff.
It's a fucking such a scrambled world.
Okay. He goes, so Gottlieb's like, well, I mean, how often do you tell people that you have some team working on something when it's not true? And Jed Wallace says, it's puffery. And Gottlieb is like, this is puffery? Okay. You say, reading, and this is a quote, either way, this is...
I do like the word, though.
Either way, this is our wheelhouse, and I'm happy to discuss. Do you see that? And Jed says, I do. And Gottlieb says, what are you trying to convey when you tell somebody this is our wheelhouse? And Jed Wallace says, it's crisis management. And Gottlieb asks, and you're trying to convey to Redacted that the problem she's facing is in the wheelhouse of you and Miss Nathan, right? And Jed Wallace says, I don't know specifically. Crisis management is the wheelhouse. Gottlieb says, but you're not talking about crisis management generally to Redacted, right? You're talking about the problem she's facing. And Jed Wallace says, we don't know the details yet. Question. So you were saying then that all crisis management is in your wheelhouse? And he says, I don't know exactly what's being, and it gets cut off.
Dope.
Okay. This should be the last bit. You want to hear it?
Yes, please.
Oh, actually, this is just a single page, so let's see what's on here. So this cuts in the middle of his answer. It just begins, the Texas case. In fact, Miss Lively has prevented us from taking discovery in the Texas case. So if your questions are limited to the New York case where the accusations are clear about what she's alleging, I'll let him answer. Oh, this is from his lawyer. I'll let him answer, but I don't want him answering questions about the Texas case. Okay, so Gottlieb starts. Well, as you recall in Miss Lively's deposition, you, in your limited time, and it was limited, asked her questions about the Texas 202 position, correct? And Jed Wallace's attorney goes, well, I asked her what I asked her. But I wasn't asking her about the Texas case. Gottlieb says, I'm not asking you specifically about allegations in your Texas complaint, okay? But here is...
it's weird that they included the lawyer back and forth.
Yeah, I know. Well, I guess it's for this part because this is one page. So this is the answer that I
It
guess
used
is
to
juicy.
it exhausted me when
I know, where you have to sit there and you're like, oh my God, you guys are bickering again.
Fucking exhausted me.
Okay, so here's the question. Gottlieb is asking, but at any point in time, perhaps other than your allegations in your Texas complaint, have you ever claimed or alleged that Miss Lively fabricated her allegations of sexual harassment? And Jed Wallace says, not that I recall. Okay, so I guess that's what he doesn't know. He doesn't recall whether he ever said that she fabricated any claims. Okay? Should I continue to the next part?
Yeah. How much is left?
This is the last 3 pages.
Okay.
Okay, at any point in time, did you gain that understanding? I don't know what the context is, but Jed Wallace says, as I said, he's my lawyer since 2020. That was my first phone call. We were trying to process what it meant. Question. All right, did you understand when you received this email and the attached cease and desist letter that you were required to preserve all documents concerning Miss Lively's sexual harassment allegations against Mr. Baldoni and other Wayfair parties? And Jed Wallace's attorney says, I don't need to say this, but exclude conversations with your lawyers. And the witness answers yes. So the question again is, did you understand that this letter requiring you to preserve all documents concerning Miss Lively's sexual harassment allegations against Mr. Baldoni and other Wayfair parties? And he said, I did. And did you understand that did you understand that you were required to preserve all documents concerning Miss Lively's retaliation allegation against the Wayfair parties? He said, I did.
What was the preservation letter date?
I don't recall exactly, but I know that it was with regards to her 17 points.
Okay.
So what was the date? It was November of 2023, right?
For the 17 points?
Yes.
Was it?
I think it was November of 2023.
Yes.
That was right before they returned to work in January
Correct.
of 2024.
Yes.
So that must have been then. Did you understand that preservation requirement to extend to electronically stored information? He said, yes. And you saw the long description of electronically stored information in this letter as you were reviewing it? And Jed Wallace says, I did. You saw that included things like WhatsApp and Signal? And he said, I did. And emails and text messages? And Jed Wallace says, yes. Okay, what steps did you take? And I don't want to know about conversations that you had with your counsel, but what steps, if any, did you personally take to preserve documents after receiving this letter? And Jed Wallace says, I called my lawyer. Okay, apart from talking to your attorneys, which I did not ask you about, did you take any steps personally to engage in document preservation for your devices? And Jed Wallace says, I did what they suggested. Okay, did you personally go into your phone and change any settings, retention settings on your Signal app after receiving this letter? And Jed Wallace says, I don't recall doing that. Okay, do you recall examining the retention settings on the Street Relations email accounts? He said, I don't recall. Do you know one way or the other whether the Street Relations email account had retention settings on them? And Jed Wallace says, yeah, they retain everything. From my understanding, and I don't recall, he's asking for how long, and he said, I don't recall. Okay, so you don't know if that's indefinite or for some period of time, and Jed Wallace says, I don't as we sit here.
Is this his business email, I take it?
Street Relations is his business. Okay, do you recall going into your WhatsApp account and changing any settings like that? And he said, I don't recall. How about an iMessage? Do you recall looking at any settings that you might have had with respect to data retention on the cloud for Apple or for your devices with Apple? He said, I don't recall. You, from time to time, use the voice note feature. Is that right? He said, yes. And am I right that the voice note feature is configured in a way on Apple devices where voice notes will not automatically be saved to devices? And Jed Wallace says, I don't know the specifics. Do you know if on your device, the voice notes that you send or receive are automatically saved to your device, or whether you have to save them yourself? And he said, I don't know offhand. Okay, so you don't know one way or the other whether, for example, if you send a voice note to someone in the context of a text thread, whether that's saved, that being the voice note along with the text thread. He said, I need to know more specifics. But he's saying he doesn't know offhand. Okay, apart from your street relations email, do you use any other email account? And he said there's a MAC address, but nothing for business. Let me see if this continues. Okay, there's a big jump. So this is the last page I have here, okay?
Yeah.
I don't recall. Gottlieb says, so you can't rule it out. And Jed Wallace says, I need to know more details. That's like the whole deposition for him. Okay, Gottlieb is asking, you've got to answer my questions, sir. It's a yes or no question. Can you rule out the possibility that you were on a signal chain with Katie Case and Melissa Nathan on the date of this message here, August 8th, 2024? Jed Wallace says, yeah, I don't know what indicates this is a signal message, so I'd need to know more information. And Gottlieb says, okay, you were communicating with people at TAG by this time in August of 2024, right? On Signal? And Jed Wallace says, sure, yes. Including Melissa Nathan? He says, correct. Okay, and you just don't remember whether this is among the signal messages that on signal chains that you were on? So I guess so that's the end of it. But this last one, I guess, is that he affirmed that he was communicating with Melissa Nathan and TAG in August of 2024.
Via Signal.
On Signal.
And Melissa Nathan said she had no recollection. Correct?
I can't remember.
I believe that was her testimony. Are you done?
Yes.
All right. Do you want to do 10 minutes of the chat?
Yes.
I know that somebody called Bing, Bop, Boom, 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 which they've been here before, I think. I remember that name. They didn't get a nice reception.
Oh, really? Why?
Because they're I guess they're Baldoni supporters, and I guess there was, I don't know, I haven't seen all the chatting. They lit it up. The chat rate was at 6, which is very high for us. Chat rate. Who the fuck am I? Chat rate. Let me check my chat rate right now. I'll tell you, I can give you the temperature of the...
The junk farm said, LOL, knew he had to retain, did nothing to retain, and that's best case if you believe that they didn't start using Signal specifically to delete.
I'll tell you though, his testimony was similar to Leo's in his ability to evade answering questions or just avoid questions in general, right. Avoiding answers and avoiding it depends on what is.
Well, we saw in all those text messages that it was like they were sharing with each other. They're like, and most importantly, untraceable, and like leaving no fingerprints. So if this is what he sells people, of course he's going to be like, listen, if they ask me to talk, I'm not talking. You can't get it out of me.
Oh, Bing is still here. Bling is still here. Is it Bling? I'm sorry, my eyes are bad. Bing says that he's not a Baldoni supporter. I'm going with he, and I could be wrong. I'm just interested in the case, and I believe Justin Moore. Well, that's interesting. I wonder how much of the case you've read then. I just don't know how you can read Judge Lyman's ruling on when he booted the $400 million lawsuit. It's just so. Literally in this is where I get confused about, because if you're following the case, then you have to read that, and if you read that, then you had to have read that the judge said that the evidence is there. The judge said it. The judge said that the evidence of retaliation is there. He said the evidence of them working with and planting stories is there. That's in it. That's what he said. The judge said that. The judge said that the case the case they filed was being kicked out because it was meritless. I'm obviously paraphrasing. It's all there. The judge wrote it out. It's simple as...
My favorite part of that ruling to dismiss Justin Baldoni's lawsuit was so validating, because this is what my complaint about it was, where he said that the evidence that Justin Baldoni provided cut against his claims. That he was contradicting his claims with the evidence he provided. And that's what I saw too. It was really remarkable that anybody believed the narrative. I don't know if it was written by Brian Friedman or somebody else on his team, but the narrative is so hyperbolic, so accusatory,
Yeah.
and then they'll show what evidence they have to form their opinions, and it is completely fucking opposite day. Like
Yeah.
I can't, like, for instance, he says that that Blake Lively got his name removed from the poster. But the only evidence they show is from a Sony exec asking if he's okay with having it removed from the poster, and doesn't mention Lively at all. And it's a bunch of this kind of shit. The narrative says that Lively held the trailer hostage, but the evidence they show is a Sony executive saying Blake has approved the trailer. Like
She can't hold it
it's just
hostage.
impossible.
She can't hold Sony hostage.
I've seen people argue online.
It's so preposterous.
No, I know. I've seen people argue online where they're like, "Oh my God, I can't believe that she held the movie hostage or whatever." And what they show as an example, what they show for evidence of that is a text message from Justin Baldoni complaining to his he's got some like health practitioner or something, somebody who's totally not involved with the case whatsoever, and he's just complaining that the movie has been taken over by Lively. That's not evidence. Him complaining and having some fucking paranoid fantasy is not evidence in this case. So I think that it's interesting when people say that they believe Justin Baldoni. I don't know how critically they're looking at what's been provided by them, because every single thing I've read from Justin Baldoni's side has supported Blake Lively's claims. And I don't think I'm alone in this, you know? I just feel like
Fucking,
you guys have to just like be skeptical.
Ex-lady said, can you please point that out? Because I'm sure we were reading different documents. So I'm going to go get this shit right now. Because that fucking gets me on my nerves so much when people pull that shit off. I'm not mad at you or anything, but like, huh?
Why does it get on your nerves?
It just gets on my nerves because like,
it's an opportunity to point things out to people that they've maybe missed or maybe have been misled into ignoring.
But it assumes that she read a document that she didn't read because it's there. I'm about to read it for you. Quoting I'm going to quote the judge too.
Hey, don't get upset about it though.
I'm not upset. I'm just saying like,
you're shouting.
Like I'm not reading different. Okay, here we go. This is in a reply to somebody who said a very similar thing as you did, ex-lady, and to others who say that there's no. Here are some statements made by Judge Lyman in his ruling to dismiss Wayfair Party's $400 million lawsuit. And like them, I'll ask if you have any questions, let me know. This is a quote. Quote, the CRD complaint and article contain numerous messages and documents strongly suggesting the Wayfair parties did spread negative stories about Lively. Page 115.
Why are you shouting?
I'm just going to do this. This is what I do.
I know, but it's loud.
Next one. It is fair to presume, this is a quote from Judge Lyman on that document. It is fair to presume that the Wayfair parties did what they said they planned to do. Page 116. Another quote, but these texts can be read to imply that Tag did tell Wallace to go after Lively on other issues. Page 117. Next one. The Time, and these aren't all of them. I'm just giving you the fucking handful I decided to throw at this dude with the same nonsense. The Times meaning the New York Times. Nope, I'm going to do my thing. The New York Times may have otherwise parroted the breathless smear campaign narrative of Lively's complaint, but had evidence to support that narrative. I'm going to repeat that one more time. The Times may have otherwise parroted the, quote, breathless smear campaign narrative of Lively's complaint, but had evidence to support that narrative. Page 118. I'm going to give you one more. Given the strength of the evidence in favor of a smear campaign, this is Judge Lyman's quote. Given the strength of the evidence in favor of a smear campaign, it is not plausible that the New York Times, quote, entertained serious doubts as to the truth of the smear campaign narrative as a whole. Page 119. So there you have 6 quotes, from the judge with page numbers. Please enjoy. And I'm not yelling at you, dude. I'm just saying, don't tell me that I've read a fucking different document. You're on this live listening to us fucking read the documents. That's what we do. We're not playing. I'm not fucking playing here. I'm not wasting my time. I'm not here trying to take favor on Blake Lively. Got another guy telling me, well, the evidence I see favors fucking Justin Baldoni. This is what the judge said. The judge who sees all the redactments.
Yeah, that's true.
He sees all the fucking redactments.
He sees more than
He's seen it all. He's seen the stuff he's throwing out. He's seen the stuff that he fucking is going to keep. in the case, he sees it all, and it's all right there. Given the strength of the evidence in favor of a smear campaign. Those are the judge's words. The strength of the evidence in favor. My God, what do you need? Do you need the fucking clouds parted? Do you need a fucking demigod to come up from the fucking... Like, what do you need? Because plain English doesn't work. Plain fucking English doesn't work. Okay. It's just amazing to me. It just blows my mind. It just blows my mind. People are like, I guess you read a different document. No, you didn't read the document. I actually did.
The dog is looking at me like, yo, is he cool?
What? Why are you?
She's like, I can shout too, motherfucker.
So you want to get in a shout match with me, bitch?
Mescalero 937 said Dale ended his rant with you can't handle the truth.
Apparently you can't handle the fucking truth. Apparently you can't even see it when it's slapping you upside the fucking face because it's right here and it can't be more fucking obvious. And look, this doesn't mean that this is the tried case. That doesn't mean that there's not something that could come in. That doesn't mean certain rulings might fucking hinder the story being told as the judge now sees it or saw it at that point when he kicked the $400 million suit to the curb because it was a fucking joke. And he knew it was a joke. And most lawyers who covered this case knew it was a joke. I am a layman who only has been through a lawsuit with a major movie star and been in this fucking kind of a circle once in his life. And I knew that it's a joke. That lawsuit, that $400 million lawsuit. Come on, man. You got a lawyer peddling that shit on a website. In a lawsuit, dude.
It's crazy.
That's for a fucking federal court.
Yeah, and
that's the guy's side you're on. You're on that guy's side.
Congratulations. His fucking reputation's ruined now. Everybody
I can't believe anybody would ever use that fucking
They built a fucking
hack.
army to defend Justin Baldoni's reputation, and now it's in the fucking dirt. Congrats, guys.
Anyway, so if you refer to those pages in that complaint, you will read those in context and you will find nothing is out of context. You'll find everything I have said in that are quotes from the fucking, from the judge to Friedman's ears when he booted this shit to the curb.
No Two Trolls said, same LOL Angela. Dale is Daling.
Yeah. Yeah, I got it. Sometimes it's just like, cause it's like, I just don't mind feeling a little energetic about it because it gets tiring. You sit there and you want to have, I do want to have like open, good conversations, but you got to read the documents if you're going to come here and represent. And if you're not going to read the documents and not come represent, then come asking questions. Come asking questions. It's not like you didn't, ex-lady, ask a question like, show me the document, but that you followed it up with, because I think you're reading something different than me, is a way, and it's a passive-aggressive way of trying to say that we're sitting here spreading misinformation, that I'm going to sit here in front of you, as many and as few as we do, and spread information.
And fictionalize all
and
this?
And fictionalize shit. And that's not what this is. This is fucking called Too Real. And what we're doing on this fucking channel is trying to get rid of that shit. That doesn't mean we're not going to be, we're going to be flawless. It doesn't mean we won't make mistakes. But we're here to tell the facts based on evidence, not based on fucking stories you're hearing from other people or facts convoluted and conflated in your mind.
Hanada said that it's a typical Baldoni tactic. They're saying, prove it to me. And Hanada saying, no, I won't. Go read the documents yourself. It's not my fault. You refute legal documents.
Yeah. I'm looking at, it's okay. I'm just going, the reason I read it is because I'm down. I'm down with it because I'm not fucking playing. I'm not showing up here with garbage. I'm showing up here with facts. That document was not before Discovery, dude. How can you say that? Before Discovery, my God. And by the way, we're reading Discovery. We're watching Discovery. We heard Justin Baldoni's, did you read the summary judgment from Justin Baldoni? It couldn't be a weaker document. It is such a laughably bad document. It has nothing. It has nothing. Literally, it has about as much as what as Justin Baldoni could offer in his fucking deposition when he said that that Blake Lively somehow was getting control of his film. He used that in his deposition, that word somehow. He, in September of 2025, could not explain during his deposition how Blake Lively was stealing his film. He said somehow. Somehow. That was his answer. I'm telling you right now, fucking jury's not going to buy that.
He owns it. He still owns it. He ran the whole
Co-chair of
production.
the company that owns it.
He's in charge of literally everybody.
In charge of every single person.
Even Jamie Heath reports to him as the CEO.
Jamie Heath is his subordinate.
Everybody
He was
answers to him.
the top of the fucking food chain on that movie.
But he's just making up this fucking paranoid delusion that somebody stole something from him, which he can't ever, show any evidence of any theft that happened. Like, he didn't lose anything whatsoever, but he's just going with it. All the way to now. I mean, I can't believe that he's still in the deposition, that he hasn't been like, you know what? I actually thought about it and I realized how I was wrong. How maybe I just I got a little scared and I jumped the gun. Like, no, he's sticking to his story and he still can't articulate what the fuck happened.
More important news, Tanner's here. Tanner's here.
What's up, Tanner?
He had a bad day as a Mets fan because they're losing Edwin because Edwin's chasing. But the Phillies kept Kyle Schwarber, baby.
The Schwarbomb.
The Schwarbomb. 5 years, $150 million. Oh, baby. I'm in such a good mood about it.
No,
the Eagles lost, but the Phillies, baby, they're bad. They're going to be... All right, listen, man.
We got to get you to bed.
Kiki just dropped 50 pounds on us right now. You're amazing. That's so freaking kind. I can't even believe it. Let's read what she has to say.
Kiki says, thank you for your abiding... I think that's a typo. Your abiding based analysis, Dale and Angela. Baldoni supporters are scary to me because they're either being willfully blind, deliberately defending the wide-scale abuse of women at work, in court, on social media.
It's the most disturbing part of it for me is that we're seeing the open, you can see, look, I understand because everybody was, it's not, it says evidence. That was meant to be, thank you for your evidence-based analysis. Said Kiki. She corrected it.
Are you able to expand that? Because I think that I can't because I'm just in your chat.
Oh, yeah, let me see.
But there's an expansion. I think there's there's an ellipses. So.
I think that they limit the characters.
What? Why would they do that?
Because it's not letting me do anything unless I don't know how.
Garbage.
You know what? In chat, can you put the rest of that in chat for us, Kiki? You are so kind and we're so grateful. Thank you so much.
Oh yeah.
But listen, it is a fact-based place around here. We're not, listen, guys, man. I feel like this case is extremely important. I think it's important because it's going to expose and under I think that the heart of its importance is the fact that it is a big, horrible, fucking muddy pit of misogyny.
Dude, we just found out today because Stephanie Jones amended her complaint against Jen Abel.
Oh my God.
No Two Trolls said that this super chat is for our dog's new earplugs.
Oh my God.
So you can shout and the dog won't get upset about it.
Oh my God, you guys.
She's fine. She's laid back down now.
That is overwhelming. Oh my God. Thank you so much. Oh my God. It's extremely overwhelming. You guys are so fucking generous. I can't even stand it.
What was I saying?
Wow, I don't know.
I forgot.
Gave me a hot flash and I'm not even a chick. In my 50s. Holy crap. I'm seriously sweating.
The junk farm said, shift the goalpost some more.
Who said that?
Shift the goalpost some more. For example, the judge decided its best possible light in Baldoni's favor. If everything he said was right, he still had no case.
He still had no case.
This is true. This is how he wrote.
Yeah, that's it. No, he did. He wrote that practically exactly. Even if what you're saying is true, it still has no fucking merit and no legs legally.
Oh,
it has
the rest of Kiki's message was or these Baldoni supporters, they lack comprehension and show no willingness to learn. I think what happened was it's really eye-opening because I don't know if it's Friedman who wrote the Baldoni lawsuit. Whoever wrote that hyperbolic narrative, he crafted it in a way and people believed it. And I think that they believed it. It's like that bias towards authority. They're like, oh, well, if it's a lawsuit that's filed in court, then it can't have a lie in it. And so all of this must be true. And I think that that's just what they just determined when they were reading it. But it's just all of those allegations were so far-fetched. And I noticed right away, I was like, there's no evidence for this here. They show a bunch of evidence, but they're not supporting any evidence that Lively ever said anything that was a threat. She never made any demand. She didn't do any sort of extortion. All they have is Justin Baldoni complaining about her to other people. And that's not evidence that she did anything.
It isn't. It doesn't mean anything. It's just like the idea that all these Baldoni fans get together, hating on Blake Lively as a human being. They just don't like her, and they've made up their reasons or whatever. They've heard all the stupid things about plantation this and whatever else, and they build up this hatred toward her. And instead of actually looking at the woman in the situation and looking at the situation, they're trying to they build this evil character around her, and then and so they base their opinions on the fact that they hate her.
It's an ad hominem attack. It's like one of the easiest, most shallow ways to trick people is to say.
Ex-lady talked about it today. She felt like she was being having that people were attacking her on an ad hominem basis.
Yeah, so I mean, it's just really easy to like discredit somebody. Like instead of engaging with their argument, you discredit them personally. Instead of, it's just really easy to just like completely, avoid the topic of discussion completely when you're like, oh, well, you're a bad person. And so nothing you say is credible.
First of all, the one thing I love about having Hanada here is that Hanada's a lawyer. She might not be an American lawyer, but she's a lawyer. She knows her fucking shit, and there are certain, sort of tenets in law that, go beyond just, our own. She's just smart stuff. Dime Beth said something that I think is sadly, but very true. Unfortunately, all these Justin supporters mean $30,000 a month was well spent. And it is. They got everything they wanted and more. And I can't agree with you more on this. I think it's a perfect point. They spent $30,000 a month so that they could create a narrative that people like what's his name? Who says now he can't wait to come here when the judgment comes. Bing, thank you.
Oh, yeah. I remembered what I was saying.
Bing is good. Yeah, Bing, I can't wait. You better come here when the judgment comes. You better come.
What I was saying before.
And I will be here if he wins.
Before we were gifted so generously, and I lost my train of thought. What I was saying was that today we learned from Stephanie Jones's amended complaint that they have built these attack websites to discredit victims 8 different times at least that she knows of. So it's like that's why this case is so important.
Yeah. Because
they're going to continue to do this to people. Like, I really want a world in which victims can speak out and speak up for wrong behavior. Or even if people maybe don't have their story straight, that we can investigate what their claims are without them being completely attacked and having their reputation ruined. It's fucked. So that's another thing we got to cover.
Well, Ex-lady said she was called delusional and lacking comprehension, by the way, and that is a classic ad hominem attack. And look, you know what? I try to. Sometimes I think people, and I can say this about myself, and I need to be better at this. When I've been conscientiously aware of and trying to be very conscientious of using words like delusional, because first of all, I think that delusional. The problem is that it feels like it applies. And the reason that it feels like it applies is because it's hard to comprehend how people can be believing this guy when the evidence is overwhelmingly in Blake Lively's favor. Like, I don't think this is even close. And I thought that before Lyman tossed the $400 million lawsuit. And I thought that, and so after reading Lyman's judgment on that, it's like 140 page.
But this is true. The Junk Farm's helping to make your point too. Said no, because I literally told you what was delusional. Oh. So that's not an ad hominem.
No, that's not an ad hominem. If he said that this is delusional,
yeah,
then he's saying that the very specific thing is being delusional, and that definitely isn't an ad hominem attack.
But you know what I said.
But I understand the sensitivity around that.
That's what I'm saying about ad hominem attacks, is that they're the easiest, like most shallow, like, basically like low effort ways to illogically argue with somebody and avoid the actual topic. And so I wouldn't be surprised if both sides are doing it, because like I said, it's like the easiest thing to do.
I personally find when Ex-lady, when you said you must have read when you said, and it read so sarcastically, that I must have read a different document than you, that felt like an ad hominem attack on me. And the reason I felt that way, even though it's very passive aggressive, I know, but I'm saying it felt similarly because
but you're just saying it's a logical fallacy, but it's a different one.
It infers, right? Mm-hmm. Some kind of deep ignorance on my part, but also like almost negligent ignorance, to the extent that I would be on here saying that Judge, wouldn't you love that? Judge Lyman said, these things, which, clearly showed that he said that the evidence that he saw clearly showed strong evidence of a smear campaign, and so the point is that I understand the sensitivity around things and the ability and the to confuse them with attacks on your person. But I can say here that we get a fair amount of Baldoni supporters, and none of the people here are belligerent to anybody. It can get heated sometimes because we're all very passionate about that. But belligerent to others, I just don't see it.
One thing I do want to point out is that the PR professionals, right? The public relations professionals that are parties in this case,
yes,
are experts at conflating and convoluting and confusing the narrative.
Yes.
So when we're being...
We saw it. It's like they all learned from Jed.
No, I know. But so listen, so when we are being provoked to do these logical fallacies and start attacking other little details like, oh, you're reading from a document, but it's not the right document, or you're delusional and so you don't understand this case, or like any of that stuff, like that's their fucking playground. You understand that, like, if you're behaving that way, you're being manipulated by these people exactly how they want to. They have you right where they want you, right?
Right.
And like, there's actually evidence in this case where Jen Abel and Melissa Nathan are discussing their progress and what they've achieved, and they're saying it's so great that we've confused everybody.
Yeah.
That's what they want,
Yes.
because Blake Lively can't make a clear argument about what her claims are if everybody's confused about it.
Yeah.
So congratulations. If you're confused about what's real and what's fake in this case, you're being manipulated by them, you know? And it's really easy trap to fall into because they're experts. They're fucking professionals at this.
Yeah.
And so that's why here, what I'm doing is I'm not covering anybody's like stories where they interviewed somebody who's like, you know, close to the parties in the case, but they've got like secret knowledge, you know, anonymous sources, whatever. Dale and I have only been reading the documents from the docket because I don't want to be spun.
No,
or
X-Lady,
tricked
by the way,
people.
X-Lady is saying she didn't say anything about me, against me personally, and you didn't. You absolutely didn't. And I'm glad you did. I think you've been great here. I really do. I just think that what we need to do is just keep everything level-headed and
Coming for you.
And well, when I say level-headed, I mean, I'm saying be passionate. I'm definitely a passionate fella, and I'm not going to stop being passionate.
Yeah.
It's how I'm built. I'm a Mars-driven character, you know. And so, if you know anything about astrology, Mars is my natal ruler. It lives in my fifth house of pleasure, which is very interesting, and it can mean that I can be very impassioned. And where I'm going with this is that it's really important to recognize that is the sort of temperature of things around us. So pay attention to what people are really saying. Be sure that somebody's calling you delusional before feeling as though somebody is. Because what happens is you feel that somebody's calling you a delusional.
You get defensive.
Then you get defensive, and then you start, if you don't claw back, you put up a barrier. And if you don't put up a barrier, you create a different sort of distance, perhaps by pointing out that somebody's, attacking you. And instead, you're not paying attention to. I had it on this channel before when I was, somebody was trying to tell me that Pedro Pascal, a former very close friend of mine, or reasonably close friend of mine at least, was or is some kind of snake in the grass. And I got really upset about it because Pedro Pascal happens to be one of the nicest people I've ever known. And I got upset about it. And then that person, my reaction, so I became passionate about it, felt like an attack. But there was no attack, right? So the point I'm trying to make, obviously, is be discerning of the environment that you're in. Be aware of the temperature. If it's hot, expect heat.
Yeah. This is interesting. Bing Bop Boom.
Yeah.
This is a great username. Anyway,
It is, yeah,
I
it's
have
true.
been told by Blake supporters,
Yeah.
get off Justin's dick and he's not going to sleep with you. Yet they cry about misogyny. He said,
Yeah.
not here, but elsewhere. So, and I'm saying that I'm glad you're here because we're not going to say that to
Yeah,
you.
we'll never say that to you.
And I don't think anybody in the chat is going to say that to
No,
you.
that's not going to happen here.
So if you dislike that treatment, like I get it. Like that's
I do
reasonable.
too. And if anybody were on this channel talking to you that way, they get blocked or banned.
Yeah, for sure.
They get blocked or banned because I don't fucking roll that way. And I'm sorry that people treated you that way who support something that you don't. You're not going to find that here. And I think that anybody on either side doing that is fucking trash. There's no need for it. You don't need to have those kinds of, especially when you're on Blake's side because Blake's winning. Sorry, but she is, dude. She's whooping this guy's butt. It's ugly, bro. It's an ugly scene. I knew it was going to happen straight away. And first of all, I don't think everyone wants to make Blake Lively have to be all this powerful. She's not powerful. She's smart. She's fucking smart.
She's principled.
She's principled. She understands the environment and the climate that she's in. And she also has a certain amount of, I think she's a bit of a hero. And that's going to fucking piss you guys off. But I think she's a bit of a hero. And the reason I feel that way is because let me tell you about how Hollywood works. I know this because I wrote this book, Too Real a Hollywood Memoir. You know, if you don't know anything about it, it's a book about me and Leonardo DiCaprio and our dispute that's been going on for decades. I know a little bit about Hollywood. I'm not a fucking, the greatest expert ever, but I have my personal experience and it's valuable in this situation. And I can assure you right now that Blake Lively knew long before filing that complaint the kind of shit that was coming her way. She knew exactly what to expect. And maybe it got bigger and badder and hotter than maybe they might have anticipated, but she knew she was going to take a massive hit for this. They had long meetings about it in the rooms, I guarantee you.
But if you believe in what happened in the Me Too movement, that was a net benefit to everybody who works in this industry, then you're gonna take that torch and you're gonna carry it. You know, it's like she took massive damage.
I think the biggest problem that she ran into is first of all, everyone's like, Blake Lively took control of the film and all this bullshit. The facts are very much supporting that these guys had no control of the set to begin with. The problem and the reason why Sony shifted to somebody that they could potentially rely on to get this movie delivered is because these guys were dropping the ball all over the place, and it's obvious. He's calling people sexy. I mean, it's just all over the place. And listen, while that might not be an egregious act by some, it doesn't matter. It's not how to get to delivery.
No, Alex Sachs at Wayfair is communicating with Ange Giannetti at Sony
so they knew about
his bad behavior in May of 2023. In the first 2 weeks of filming, they already have all these complaints that they've been relaying back to each other from multiple people who have been working on the set. It is not a fucking it is not outside of the realm of possibility that they never had control in the first place. You know? It's just fucking
I promise you
that
Blake Lively knew the trouble that this was going to cause her.
Yeah.
But the reason why I think she took this heat is because these guys were man enough. These guys put up this big front. And we know this now. I've been saying this since very early in this case. I mean, within the first couple of months. I said that I think the reason why we're in this is because Blake Lively wants to protect women in Hollywood. Because
from smear campaigns on the internet.
And from like when she saw the retaliation, she was like, first of all, this guy is not man enough on the set, right? Mm-hmm. She's like, look, if you're supposed to stand up for what Justin Baldoni says that he stood up for in his podcast, in his book, and on that TED Talk, then you're not going to be calling somebody sexy on your set. And by the way,
and being indignant about it.
And being indignant about it. Like he knew it was wrong. Then he rolled his eyes at the camera. We all saw it. So he knew that what he was doing was inappropriate and wrong, but yet he still doubled down on it in creating separation between him and the person to whom he spoke. And it's fucking awful, if you ask me. And it's not some kind of egregious thing, but it's just a problem. And then it's these mounting of problems that create this environment around this guy that makes him seem like a complete and total fraud. The problem that happened in Hollywood, and this is important, man, is that Hollywood would deliver women to the victims. Right? Harvey Weinstein
deliver women to the victims,
or to the perpetrators. To
the predators.
Forgive me. To the predators. Right? Harvey Weinstein had women cycle to him from managers and producers and whomever else who wanted access to Weinstein and to Miramax Film. Right? And they just cycle those fucking people in, and there's complicity all the way through, from one end to the other, in the hotel room, out the hotel room, complicity. And this was the machine that was destroying women in Hollywood, that was destroying women's lives in Hollywood, right? And that was keeping women away from, and this is the big one, keeping women away from achieving the same sort of career aspirations that men get handed to them every day, right? Mm-hmm. So very few women can make it in Hollywood the way men can. It's just that simple.
Yeah, because there's some fucking sicko who wants to be a gatekeeper so that he can be satisfied with,
just misogyny in general. Yeah. Just misogyny in general. So basically, this woman saw this guy put up a facade. She signed on to the man enough situation. She signed on because she was in a situation that she believed was going to be progressive and supportive of women in film. And that, man, I can't tell you how tough that is. Women in film, especially aging women. Oh my God. So here's this opportunity for her. And it was an opportunity to get with somebody who might elevate her, to get with somebody who might give her the bridges to the places that she's wanted to go her entire career, but were denied by chauvinistic, misogynistic men and studio heads of all the past. This was supposed to be the end to that. And instead, she saw a guy putting up a facade. putting up a trap. You know, if this guy, and what is he doing?
That was really revelatory too, because Justin Baldoni said that in the meeting in January 4th. It was the day before they were going to return to production, when they went over again just to make sure that all of the leadership level, right, all of like the producers and the executives and stuff that she assembled in her house, that they all heard the 17 points, so that they all understood what was at stake. I mean, what needed to be done, right?
Yeah.
It was really revelatory that to me that Baldoni said in his testimony that she said that it was like he tricks people, that he's not who he claims that he is, and that it was like I can't remember the exact quote, but she was like, it was like he tricks women, right? That he's not safe because of that. And I don't recall knowing that before. That wasn't in her 17 points, you know? That was something that she said in the meeting that he recalled.
Exactly. It was a delight to see, because it was something that I had intuitively believed from the beginning, because
that, like, you frame yourself as this one guy, but then I show up and it's another situation, and you're going to victimize me for calling you out on it.
And remember that she showed up the minute she showed up, she was like, I want to be a producer on the movie. And Wayfair. And what's interesting about that is because people want to talk about all the bullshit around this, but Sony sided with Wayfair. They deferred with Wayfair on that, and she only got an executive producer credit, which means that the confidence in the situation was Sony was confident in Wayfair.
In the beginning,
and in Justin Baldoni. And they lost that confidence. And they wouldn't have lost that confidence because Blake Lively was whispering in their ear. Trust me that. A 104-year-old studio with 10,000 employees, with stockholders nipping at their ankles. They don't play, bro. They don't fucking play.
Fel Baumling is quoting Bing Bop Boom, said, "You say take over the film. I think save the film."
Correct. She rescued the film. She was a part of the team that rescued the film. And she, by the way, didn't even have the confidence to take that on her own. She brought in Black. She brought in Todd Black.
So I think it's just really interesting that Justin Baldoni lost creative disputes, right? I want to say conflicts, but they weren't really conflicts. But Justin Baldoni lost creative disputes with Sony, and he's scapegoating Blake Lively for it. Because if you think that what Blake Lively did was underhanded and wrong, then there's no reason why Justin Baldoni isn't suing Sony, some Sony executives or Sony, the entity that they said that he had in text messages. They're saying Wayfair has Final Cut. Well, that changed. So why isn't Justin Baldoni suing Sony if they're saying that they're responsible for letting Lively usurp his whole production?
The only way that was possible.
There's no fucking possibility that he's telling the truth and he's only suing Lively for it.
It has to be Sony, because she had no power. Actually, he said, funny how Takeover is now saving. I don't think you're getting it. He lost control of the movie. Somebody had to pick up the pieces, or the thing was going to fall the fuck apart.
It's important to recognize that Takeover is now saving. Yeah, Justin Baldoni did not recognize what was happening, and he created a narrative in his mind that made him want to go to war with Blake Lively.
Yeah.
This is what is being proved out in the evidence and his own testimony. He cannot articulate why he felt paranoid and why he felt like she was attacking him, because she never did. So he's just saying that he had this feeling, he had this sense, somehow she took over the movie. He really can't articulate.
Those are the words he used in September 2025. Somehow she took over the movie. She didn't.
He cannot articulate what is actually happening. Guys, you have to recognize that there is a possibility that Justin Baldoni has a paranoia disorder, and that he makes shit up about what he's experiencing that isn't actually happening. I don't know how else to describe it. There's no other way that he could possibly believe this.
It's practically insane.
There's no evidence.
Yeah, no, there's no evidence. And it's also not possible. It's not possible. Blake Lively can't now, in terms of taking over the movie creatively, the only incentive she had was to save the movie. Justin Baldoni's still the director of the movie. He still has a film.
But even then, it's Sony who asked her to step in and take,
I don't even care about that, because that's her achieving the goal. If the goal was for her to take over the movie, there was no reward for it. None. Justin Baldoni, it's still a film by Justin Baldoni. It's directed by Justin Baldoni. It's still a Wayfair production. Wayfair is the single largest benefactor financially of the box office and all ancillary revenue of the film. They're still raking in the money, bro, from that movie. Okay? So it's not possible. And as far as taking over the film creatively, that's not how it works. I'm just going to give you a quick rundown. You've heard of director's cuts, right? You've heard of them, right? Blade Runner, director's cuts.
Yeah.
The reason they exist is because directors often have their cuts held back by the distributors because they don't match up with, they don't align with the marketing goals of the studio. It's that simple. When it doesn't matter if it tests higher.
So the studio creates a theatrical cut.
So they create a release cut, the release cut,
yeah,
which is the studio cut. That gets released, and then if it's really super successful and it's warranted, meaning there's enough to the cut to call it a director's cut. But if it's super successful, then they go and they do a director's cut run. And then Justin Baldoni gets to come out and talk about how it's a little bit different and all the different DV stuff. And they just tone it.
Yeah, why don't they just put that out?
If they had a mind for this, the Wayfair parties, if they had a fucking mind for this during the production, they would have recognized the opportunity. If I was producing this movie, I would have sat down and negotiated a director's cut. If the movie does a certain box office, I'll be okay. Well, if we do $200 million in box office, we get a director's cut. How about that? That's a real negotiation in Hollywood. But they're fucking absent of that because they have no experience and they were in over their fucking heads. And Justin Baldoni did not understand his role as a director and how that relates to big time Hollywood. When in the studio system, when you're a fucking independent director, independent filmmaker like me, I get to call all the shots only till I get to the distributor though. As soon as I get to the distributor, they're like, your name sucks. Your poster's no fucking good. We're not doing a film buy because nobody even knows who the fuck you are anyway. And that all happens, bro. And you negotiate that with the distributor and the contract changes and out goes the movie, hopefully. But Justin Baldoni, and by the way, as an independent artist, though, you have way more strength, power, and leverage because they're trying to acquire a property they believe is going to make money from you. So now you've got the leverage because you've made it, you independently own it, right? So you have the fucking leverage. You lose the leverage when you go, hey, Sony, will you give me a bunch of money? Will you tell me who I can and cannot hire? Because Blake Lively was on a short list by Sony. Let me tell you that right now. All right? And they didn't know how to handle that. And so when Justin Baldoni, and this is of course speculative, but I've got a reasonable basis for this speculation. So when you're Justin Baldoni and you're only used to this power that you used to have, then suddenly things start slipping away, like director's cuts rights, right? All of a sudden people are coming into the editing room. All of a sudden the studio's interested in making changes. Oh, but let's test it, make sure my test does well. Okay, yeah, we'll test it, we'll pacify you. But the studio is still going to make the cuts that they need to coincide with or to align with the marketing plan that they and a department of multiple people, vice presidents and directors and all kinds of fucking people putting together graphics and fucking running all the stats and whatever. It's a huge department, bro. Everybody's like, oh, Blake Lively took over the marketing of the film. Guys, it's so fucking ridiculous. It's just astronomically stupid. But it's the kind of thing that they're selling you, that you're buying. It's the kind of thing that you'll go and go, oh, she took over the fucking movie. She didn't. It's impossible. You don't know anything about Hollywood, which is fine. Why would you? You don't need to know anything about Hollywood. But take it from somebody who lived in that motherfucker and got beat up bad by it.
Yeah,
the studio rules the roost.
Yeah, these publicists are preying on people's ignorance about how this shit actually works.
Oh my God, the wardrobe nonsense. Justin Baldoni, owner of the movie, director of the movie, co-star of the movie, cast to the basement by Blake Lively. Impossible. But nobody knows that theaters only have a limited number of holding rooms to hold parties. And if those two are separated, they're going to have to put Justin Baldoni and that entourage he had with him in a separate room. I'll bet you that the history of that theater has so many famous people who partied in that room, who got held in that room. I bet you it's legendary in New York. But Justin Baldoni turned that, and his PR turned that into an opportunity to disparage a woman who had nothing to do with it except to say, I don't want that fucker on the same carpet as me, and I don't want him in the room with me.
And her and the rest of the cast, and fucking Alex Sachs, the producer who he worked with.
Yeah, no, none of the cast wanted to be around the guy because he was fucking a miserable director.
And Christy Hall didn't want to have anything to do with him, and fucking Colleen Hoover. And
so the scope of Hollywood is in play here, and it's bigger and more complex than the fucking bullshit narratives that they've been forcing down your throat to come and have you guys walking into different forums and lives like this, spreading fucking fallacies. It's spreading their fallacies, mind you. You're not spreading their fallacies, but you're spreading. So as soon as this case started coming, and this, well, Angela brought to me, she was like, Dale, can I just run this past you? This is when the case broke and I was just sitting
It was
there
the
minding my
wardrobe thing.
business.
I was like, this sounds like bullshit. Is this
Working on my
bullshit?
book.
And you're like, you were laughing.
I laughed at the notion.
You're like, that is an absurd claim to make about an actor taking over a wardrobe.
Because I knew right away that in a contemporary...
in a studio film.
Because I knew right away in a contemporary film, you would be hard-pressed to go into 20% of your contingency on a wardrobe issue. Right. Hard-pressed to get into 20% of your contingency.
But there's no taking over because who is in charge, right? Whoever's in charge can just say no, first of all, because they're in charge.
If you remember the text, like everyone wants to make this big thing out of it, but then when they release the actual text from the line producer who runs the budget and takes care of all these things.
He was like, hey, could you just charge upload the cards?
I need you to charge the card.
Yeah.
So if let me tell you something about how budgets work. If they're over budget and it's a fucking problem, a meeting is called immediately. They're like, no, we're not charging a card. Get your ass in here. Get the department's head.
Yeah, if it was actually a problem, it wouldn't have just been that little message.
He's asking you to charge the card because it's no big fucking deal.
Yeah.
He's asking you to charge the card because it's like, oh my God, I'm over budget. I'm sorry. I didn't want to be. Nobody wants to be over budget, but not a tragedy. Being over budget on stunts, being over budget on like things like special effects. These things, man, that can get costly. Fucking wardrobe in a contemporary movie, most of it's returns. They do the Hollywood system is called buying returns. You go to fucking these stores, you buy fucking $200,000 worth of clothes, you return them, and you eat 15-20% of that into your budget.
It is 9.
It's 9. We've been at it for 3 hours. Listen to me,
we
you
are
guys.
Going to go.
I can't believe I want to thank all of you guys so much. You guys make these lives so much fun. They're hard to let go of. I got to eat popcorn and I got to watch a movie, but I can't let you go. It would be horrible not to offer an extra special thanks to No Two Trolls again. Honestly, you're like an executive producer of this show already. And of course, Kiki, who once again, her second super chat, I think, maybe third, but just generosity beyond comprehension. We both appreciate it so much. Mm-hmm. Thank you so much for this. It really is, it's moving. It really is moving. I'm glad that you find value in these things. That's why we're doing them. Tomorrow we're going to read some more for you. We're going to put the whole show together. I know we have some more depositions, but if not, we have like a 250-page document we got to get through.
Much, I
want to get into these spoliation documents.
Oppositions.
I've read one of them. I have another to read. They're fucking intense and interesting, and there's some tasty parts. So we'll get into all that tomorrow. But first, we're going to start with reviews tomorrow. So come for those because they're really fun and they're lighthearted and they get us away from some of the tension that flies around this issue. I truly respect and love you all. I hope you will come back again tomorrow. I just can't thank you enough. I really can't. Good night.
Good night.